Testing. There we go. For some odd reason, everything with my stream decided to just sign itself off. So, had to just adjust that real quick, but greetings and welcome back, chat. And Wolfpack. A pleasure and honor to be able to stream for you once again. I certainly hope your week has gone well. Happy Friday, everybody. And the greatest thing ever. The new set for Magic the Gathering's Ixalan has just released, and I am very excited for it. Because that also means that the Jurassic Park cards that we've been building this entire week up for have released as well. Today was not so great for you, Wild, but you're home and relaxing now? Well, that's good. That's good to hear. At least the day is getting better as it winds down. But yes, today we are going to be checking out a number of things. First off, we are going to be checking out the new Jurassic Park cards, primarily by checking out the full card list online. Second, we're going to be going onto Magic the Gathering Arena, check out the new Caverns of Ixalan set. Managed to get a number of packs with the amount of gold that I was able to save up, so that we would be able to get a nice good amount of pulls. And then finally, we can try and make ourselves a deck with either just the cards from this set themselves, or we can try and combine it with some of the previous Ixalan sets as well. So I am very excited to check out all of these cool new cards. But the real question is, Wolf Chatter, are ready? Check out the new MT. I should actually say Magic the Gathering Jurassic Park card. Question mark. And we await your response.
Rah. I'm ready to unleash my primal spirit and explore the Jurassic Park cards. Let's
Hell yeah.
go.
Hell yeah. And we don't even need to go anywhere right now, because we can just pull it up right here. Let's see here. It should be this little capture right here, if I'm not mistaken. Uh-oh. Yeah, we got that, yes. And done. And reveal. Boom. Aha. So, we primarily got this amazing selection of cards to look over. And just to make sure that I don't get in the way too much, I'll sit myself down right over here. So yes, the first card on the list that we're going to be looking at is a card called Don't Move, the sorcery. 3 basic mana and 2 white mana, and it basically allows you to destroy all tapped creatures, and until your next turn, whenever a creature becomes tapped, it gets destroyed. Honestly, that's a very powerful move, and for 5 mana, I would say it's definitely sound in its cost. And obviously, it's got the epic little quotation from Alan Grant here from the first movie, and obviously the art itself basically just shows it looks like Alan Grant saving Lex from the car and the T Rex walking up to it. Basically just saying, keep absolutely still. Its vision is based on movement. In terms of the card art itself, I definitely enjoy it. It's definitely it obviously gets the message across of what scene it's supposed to represent. However, I'd probably say just it may just be the angle as well, but the shape of the T Rex's head kind of looks a little wonky to me. But regardless, I still enjoy it. Yes, the pictures are very nice indeed. And this is primarily what I wanted to do as well. Just look over the card art or each of the cards and sort of just like give my own sort of like little review and just point out what I like about it, what I don't like about it, just get a little just give a little bit of a personal opinion on it, Speaking of cards, the next one will be Cresting Mosasaurus. Basically, 8 mana in total with two blue mana specific, and it has the ability called Emerge. This seems to be a unique ability where you can cast a spell by sacrificing a creature and paying the Emerge cost reduced by that creature's mana value. Ah, okay. So basically, Cresting Mosasaurus, if you want to summon it for cheaper, you can sacrifice a sacrifice a creature that's at least 7 mana. Oh no, wait, yeah, 7 mana. No, 6 mana. 6 mana or less. You still have to pay the blue mana specific, and you can basically get it out cheaper than paying the full 8. Which I like. I like. Obviously, it means sacrificing a creature. So if it means like sacrificing a level 4 mana value creature to reduce its cost by 2, that would be amazing. And whenever Cresting Mosasaurus enters the battlefield, if you cast it, return each non-dinosaur creature to its owner's hand. Obviously, really good if you want to just wipe out a set field or like a engine that is set up on the field, I should say. And obviously, the card art depicts Mosasaurus emerging from the Mosasaurus feeding show that we see in Jurassic World. And it looks like the quote is from the announcer as well, basically saying that it preyed on anything it could sink its teeth in. Overall, nice card art. I like how the little bit of attention to detail shows the second row of teeth found inside the Mosasaurus's jaw. That is an actual thing that Mosasaurus actually did have. Mosasaurus from Arc from Arc 2, yeah. I think the Mosasaurus from Arc though, I think it. I mean, I kind of like the design from the Mosasaur from Ark as well. But it obviously kind of still has more of that reptile look rather than that marine reptile sort of design. The next one, Spitting Dilophosaurus. And let's be honest, Spitting Dilophosaurus kind of has, well, the Jurassic Park Spitting Dilophosaur has basically given everyone the interpretation that the Dilophosaurus had those big flashy frills, um, which honestly was not the case, but it's just obviously a very popular thing that people like to reference nowadays. 3 mana cost, and I really like the art for this one. Obviously it shows off Dennis Nedry getting attacked by the Dilophosaur whenever it hopped into the Jeep with him after the first encounter, as he was trying to get the Jeep unstuck from that branch he was stuck on. And basically, whenever Spitting Dilophosaurus enters the battlefield or attacks, put a -1/-1 counter on one target creature. Obviously, kind of playing into the ability of the Spitting Dilophosaur. Just, expelling its venom at an enemy creature. And creatures your opponents control with -1/-1 counters on them can't block, obviously, sort of going along the exactly what you think they're wild. Basically, going along the lines of them going blind. And also, I actually forgot, because the cresting mosasaur and the spitting dilophosaur are creatures, they also have attack and toughness values. So for the cresting mosasaur, it having at least 4 attack but 8 defense or 8 toughness, I would definitely say would make a great wall and is a decent thing to just defend with, especially since it has 4 attack as well, be able to block all the smaller creatures. And then Spitting Dilophosaur with 3 attack but 2 toughness, obviously, because it's supposed to be the smaller Dilophosaurus, makes sense because it's got a little bit more lethality than it is actually going to be very tough. And I'd say that's actually reasonable as well. And obviously, the quote uh, on the card is nice boy, nice dinosaur. Whenever Nedry first encounters the Dilophosaurus, once again, when he's getting his Jeep unstuck. The next card, the Hunting Velociraptor. 2 basic mana with a red mana, and the Velociraptors have first strike, obviously. They're supposed to be sort of ambush predators, so they're going to try and get at you, not from the front, but from the sides. And dinosaur spells you cast have Prowl, which is a 2 basic mana, 1 red mana value ability, where you can cast a spell for its Prowl cost if you dealt damage to a player this turn with a creature with any of its creature types. Interesting. So that means let me try and elaborate on that. You may cast a spell for its prowl cost if you dealt damage to a player this turn with a creature with any of its creature types. Interesting. Okay, so that would mean that Hunting Velociraptor allows you to play, because it's a dinosaur, it allows you to play other dinosaurs from your hand for a prowl cost. And that would also mean that if you have this out on the field, no matter what creature you have out, as long as you have another creature in your hand that is of the same type, you can cast that for its prowl cost as well. That's not bad. I enjoy that. That would be an interesting mechanic to just mess around with. Obviously good for tribal decks where you're primarily focusing on one creature type. And obviously, we've got the art depicting the 2 velociraptors that are trying to hunt Robert Muldoon in the first movie. And respectively, the quote is Robert Muldoon saying, "Clever girl." Next card is Life Finds a Way, an enchantment card, 2 basic mana with 1 green mana. And it is whenever a non-token creature with power 4 or greater enters the battlefield under your control, you can populate. And the populate ability is you can create a token that's a copy of a creature token you control. Interesting. Need to get a Velociraptor on Arc. I'm pretty sure you can talk to Mecha in that regard because I'm pretty sure he's got quite the army. But obviously being able to create a copy of a creature as a token, that would definitely be amazing. It'd just be like, because Cresting Mosasaurus, you'd be able to just bring that onto the field. And since it has power 4 or greater, you'd be able to just create a duplicate of it. So so that would be an amazing ability. However, that would also be the detriment as well in terms of if it's a legendary creature, then I would believe legendary rule would have to be applied, even if it's a token, because it does not negate the legendary rule. Which the legendary rule is if you control more than one of a creature that has the same name, you have to choose which one gets destroyed. Because legendary, you can only have one out on the field. And of course, the quote is Ian Malcolm's famous line, basically, life breaks free. It expands to new territories and crashes through barriers, painfully, maybe even dangerously, but, oh, there it is. Outside of that, obviously, it's, this art basically depicts the end of Dominion, where where you see a herd of African elephants being joined by a Sinoceratops. I like how the art looks. Obviously, the um the sort of in the background sunlight, kind of actually shooting through the Sinoceratops's frill gaps is actually a nice touch. Adds on to that sort of circle of life kind of look. And obviously, it also has baby Sinoceratops along with it as well, sort of going in with the ability of the card itself, where it just creates tokens of the same creature. The next card on in the list is Savage Order. 2 mana with 2 green specific. Obviously, showing off the Spinosaurus versus T-Rex fight from Jurassic Park 3. A sorcery card, basically saying, as an additional cost to this spell, sacrifice a creature with power 4 or greater. So it kind of ties in with Life Finds a Way, in the sense that you are able to basically probably sacrifice that token to activate the sorcery. And you can search your library for a dinosaur creature card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. And until the end of your next turn, it gains indestructible. That is actually really good. Because you could, if you're lucky, not even if you're lucky enough, you get to just search for whatever dinosaur card you want, add it to the field, and it becomes indestructible until the end of your next turn. And if you have Life Finds a Way out on the field, you get an extra copy of that dinosaur. So Savage Order sounds like an amazing card to have. And the quote itself is from Billy Brennan from Jurassic Park 3. I believe he's the guy that Alan Grant joins. Yeah, he's the guy that Alan Grant brings along with to Isla Sorna, along with his little trip along with his little trip with the Kirby's. And his quote is basically, "Well, it's a super predator." And that basically is the scene where they're trying to identify what dinosaur just attacked them, which obviously it was a Spinosaur. Next card. This one's a double pointer because I saw a teaser for this starting off, and basically it is Welcome to an Enchantment Saga, where it enters the when it enters the battlefield, or when it enters the field and it becomes your turn, you get to add a counter to this saga. So basically, when it comes out, Saga 1's ability would be for each opponent to up to one target non-creature artifact they control becomes a 0/4 wall artifact creature with Defender for as long as you control this saga. So basically, you can turn your opponent's big threat into a 0/4 wall that can't actually attack because it has the Defender ability. And as long as you control the saga, it remains that way. The second ability of the saga is create a 3/3 green dinosaur creature token with trample. It gains haste until the end of the turn. Obviously, just you're building the exhibit, you're putting a dinosaur in it now. And then the third ability is destroy all walls, exile this saga, and then return it to the battlefield transformed under your control. To which it transforms into Jurassic Park. And and the ability of this legendary land is each dinosaur card in your graveyard has escape. The escape cost is equal to the card's mana cost plus exile 3 other cards from your graveyard. And the ability of escape is you may cast cards from your graveyard for their escape cost. Which obviously the escape cost being the mana cost. And then an extra 3 cards just exiled out. And then the tap ability for the land is add 1 green mana for each dinosaur creature you control. Very good land. I like that. I like that a lot. Where it not only allows you to get a huge amount of mana for each dinosaur you have out on the field, but it also lets you recycle dinosaurs that you may have used to that you may have destroyed using Savage Order, and it allows you to just keep recycling dinosaurs as long as you have the additional 3 cards to exile in your graveyard as well. And obviously, the art for both of these cards is phenomenal. I really do like the Saga's art a lot because it just kind of reminds me of those old Jurassic Park posters where it has obviously all the dinosaurs along the sides as well as all the like human characters mixed in as well. And then obviously it's the gate to Jurassic Park. You can't go wrong with that. The next cards we're looking at, yeah, there we go. Blue the Loyal Raptor and Owen Grady the Raptor Trainer. Both of them legendary creatures. Blue obviously being a dinosaur, and Owen Grady being a human soldier scientist. I don't think I've actually seen soldier creature type before, or the scientist. So may very well be unique for the cards themselves, if not introducing them for future art Magic the Gathering card collaborations. Basically, because I know for a fact they're trying to do something for what was it? The Fallout series. They're basically trying to make a card universe around that, and I believe they also have a Doctor Who series as well. So they may have also incorporated the creature types to that as well. But yes, Blue the Loyal Raptor. Let's start with our raptor friend here. 2 basic mana with a green and blue mana specific. And the abilities are partner with Owen Grady, Raptor Trainer. When this creature enters the battlefield, target player may put Owen into their hand from their library and then shuffle. That's amazing. It not only just gets Owen Grady in your hand, but you also just get. I believe they have abilities that will basically work with each other. And for each kind of counter on blue Loyal Raptor, each other dinosaur you control enters the battlefield with a counter of that kind on it. Ooh. So basically, you can have a bunch of you can have a whole bunch of counters on blue of specific types, I assume. And then whatever other dinosaur you bring out onto the field, blue gives those tokens or those counters to that dinosaur to those dinosaurs as well. I like it. I like it. Obviously, blue being blue, she's a 5/4, a lot stronger than the 3/2 Velociraptors. So obviously very good there. And obviously, the art also depicts the scene from Fallen Kingdom, where Blue is basically sending the Indoraptor down to its demise by crashing through the roof of the mansion. I forget the scientist's name of who actually owns that mansion, but regardless, obviously the art for this looks great as well. I kind of like what they sort of did with just the posture of Blue herself because it's not just because obviously the Indoraptor's already falling through the ceiling, but Blue's still needing to jump onto the Indoraptor. And then Owen Grady, the Raptor Trainer, actually cheaper than Blue with a 1 mana of any color and red and green specific. Partner with Blue, the Loyal Raptor, which obviously that would mean whenever Owen comes out on the field, you can search for blue from your deck, add it to your hand, then shuffle. And then you can tap Owen to put your choice of Menace, Trample, Reach, or Haste on a target dinosaur. Activate only as a sorcery. And obviously, that is a amazing ability to combine with blue, where you can just give blue the counters. Blue gives those counters to every other dinosaur that you bring out on the field, and you can just wreck house. Menace obviously means you can't. Menace obviously means you have to block that creature with two creatures or more, not just one. Trample means that you get to deal any excess combat damage to the opponent uh, as a result. So if you have a 4/4 but you have a 6/6, the opponent's creature will take the 4, but you still take 2 damage. Reach obviously means that it is able to block flying creatures, and haste basically means as soon as it comes out on the field, you can swing. You don't have to worry about summoning sickness and waiting a turn for you to actually be able to use the creature. And you can only activate Owen Grady's ability as a sorcery, which is understandable. And Owen Grady's quote is, "I don't control the Raptors, it's a relationship. It's based on mutual respect." Basically, sort of explaining to, I believe it was Claire, um, basically explaining how he raised Blue, Charlie, Delta, and Charlie, Delta, yeah, though, Echo. Basically explaining how the Raptors actually listen to Owen versus how he's not just controlling them. And obviously the art shows when the Raptor squad and Owen go out to try and find the Indominus out in the park at night. That epic motorcycle scene can't can't get enough of it, honestly, in my regard. And Owen being a 3/2 as well. Obviously, probably just because Owen's basically rolling around with the Raptor pack, quote unquote. So he's got a little extra attack value than just being a simple human, which would probably just put him at like a 2/2. Next cards, Combi Swarm. A one basic mana with a black and green specific. Obviously dinosaurs. And at the beginning of your end step, if a creature died this turn, create a tapped token that's a copy of Combi Swarm. Obviously, basically just a token generator that lets you just swarm the field with a whole bunch of tiny little tokens. And it's a exact copy of Compi Swarm. That means that the token itself becomes a 2/2. Obviously, the art itself is of Robert, not Robert Burke. It is of that one guy who I can't remember his name. Uh, Basically during the Jurassic Park Lost World movie, when he gets attacked by the Compi Swarm, he's clambering over the tree trunks trying to get away to save his own skin, and then the Compis jump over the log and just devour him. I like the art. I like kind of just the irony of the Compi sitting on the taser that he used to shock the first Compy he ran into. Obviously, that one held a grudge and brought the squad. And Robert Burke, who joined them, joined them during that first Compsognathus encounter, basically saying, "There's no reason to fear, man," and him just pulling out that taser, sticking it around the Compy's face, and giving it a good zap. Now it does. Outside of that, love the art, love the card. Obviously would go very well with the Life Finds a Way enchantment. You'll be able to put out 2 Compi Swarms that are the actual creature, not tokens, and then just generate double the amount of Compi Swarms. And then the next card, Ellie and Ellen, Paleontologists. Technically a legendary creature, but that is a human scientist. 2 basic mana with a green, white, and blue mana cost. With the tapped ability of exile a creature card from your graveyard, discover X, where X is the mana value of the exiled card. activate only as a sorcery. Sort of like playing on the idea of you're digging up a fossil and the value is whether or not you banish a high value card or a low value mana card. And then what was else? The discover ability basically is exile from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card with that mana value or less. Cast it without paying its mana cost, or put it into your hand, and then put the rest of the cards that you hold in on the bottom of your library in a random order. Good dig value. Doesn't exactly doesn't just exile your cards completely from yeah. It doesn't actually exile your cards, just exiles it so you can look at what you're digging up, and then you can choose from those cards whatever you want, put it out on the field or in your hand, then send the rest back into your deck at the bottom. And then, obviously, kind of going off what I said with Owen over here, if it wasn't for the Raptor squad in the background, he'd probably just be a 2/2. Kind of going off of that. Ellie and Alan have 2 attack and 5 toughness. I can only imagine that would primarily because that being a paleontologist is a very hardy kind of job. You need to be able to just work in not even hazardous, work in harsh conditions while you're out in the field trying to excavate a dinosaur. So I like it. I like it. If not, if not for just the digging value, then at least a nice bit of defense with the high value toughness. Then comes the Grim Giganotosaurus. I'm actually surprised that this is a card because I'm a big fan of Giganotosaurus, and having a card like this is just icing on the cake for me. Obviously, it's the quote unquote big bad from the Minion movie, and it is a 5 basic mana value with black and blue color, and it has the ability where you can pay 10 mana and a black and green. Did I say black and blue? I meant black and green. Black and green mana for the monstrosity 10 value ability, I should say. And this ability costs 1 less to activate for each creature with power 4 or greater your opponent's control. So if you got a if you're versing a um if you're versing an opponent that has a very large field with a lot of heavy hitting monsters, you can just use this card. You can cast this card for its monstrosity ability and basically benefit off of them having their engine set up. And if this creature isn't monstrous, put 10/1/1 counters on it and it becomes monstrous. And when Grim Giganotosaurus becomes monstrous, destroy all artifacts and creatures other than Grim Giganotosaurus. So basically, I can relate this card to King Mosh. If anyone has ever played Hearthstone, there used to be a card in there called King Mosh, and it was a big board wipe for the field. Um, so this card kind of plays along that sort of idea where it it's the only thing that survives after it comes out, and I do like that. That's pretty cool, and it obviously shows for the card art scene in Dominion where all of the dinosaurs were sent to the field or the actual establishment, not just out on the fields whenever the fires break out. Obviously, this is Grim Giganotosaurus entering the establishment and probably getting ready to fight the T-Rex for the big climactic fight. Then we go to Henry Wu, the InGen Geneticist. A 3 mana value creature card with black, green, and blue specific. A human scientist legendary creature. And Henry Wu, InGen geneticist, and other human creatures you control have exploit. Whenever a creature with exploit enters the battlefield, you can sacrifice a. Okay. And whenever a creature you control exploits a non-human creature, you get to draw a card. If the exploited creature has power 3 or greater, you get to also generate a treasure token. Not bad, not bad. So basically, sort of, breaking down dinosaurs, getting value out of them, and probably just using that mana to bring out even worse creatures. Kind of like what we are going to be looking at in a little bit. I see that right next to you there, Ian. But it has a but Henry Wu has 1 attack and 4 toughness, so that sort of, I guess, plays off the idea of he's a scientist, he's not a fighter. He's primarily there just to help you bring out even worse things. Hence the ability as well, where if you exploit a creature with 3 power or greater, obviously the it seems like the one of the biggest things that you can get right now is the Dilophosaurus and up. And obviously the art also depicts him just sitting in the lab. Looks like he's got the Indominus Rex on his computer monitor. He's looking at maybe some of it looks like maybe the Tyrannosaur on that little monitor he's got, and maybe the Giganotosaurus right there, sort of like his plan to create the Indominus Rex. And he's obviously got displays of obvious either test animals or maybe fossil displays that he may extract DNA from. Overall, nice card, like it. Obviously, kind of very appealing for me because I like the science. Next card, our boy Ian Malcolm, the K.I.Tician, a legendary human scientist, where whenever a player draws their second card each turn, that player exiles the top card of their library. Also, 1 generic mana, blue and red specific. And he's a 2/2. Look at that. And during each player's turn, that player may cast a spell from among the cards they don't own, exiled with Ian Malcolm, K.I.Tician, and mana of any type can be spent to cast it. So, this is interesting. So you can cast 2 spells, or not even just you. Whenever any player draws their second card, pardon me, each turn, uh, that play that player themselves has to exile the top card of the library. Okay. I was thinking that it was a target ability for a second there, but obviously, if you if you draw more than the 1 card that you're supposed to get every turn, you're then exiling at least 1 card from the top of your library, and then you can take those cards that they exile and spend any mana to put it on your side of the field. Amazing, amazing. I like that. And the quote is obviously in Malcolm himself saying, "Have you ever heard of cat?" And the art obviously depicts the conversation with Dr. Sattler in the first movie, where they're basically driving in the car and got the glass of water, trying to explain why the drop of water rolled down uh, Ellie's hand one way, but then it changed randomly the next time he put another drop on her hand. Great detail. Love the sort of just uh, nature in the background, but still just in the vehicle itself. I'm definitely going to have. It's definitely going to be a fun time trying to get this card in real life because obviously it's Ian Malcolm and everyone loves Ian Malcolm. I'm going to assume that this card is probably going to be fairly expensive, if not at least more than just $5. Next card, Indominus Rex, the Alpha. I like food more. I mean, food is good. Not gonna argue there. But Indominus Rex, the Alpha, the first card we've run into that has a double mana cost or a double mana or optional mana cost in its ability in its summoning, where it is 1 mana of any color, 2 green specific, and either or 2 blue mana, 2 black mana, or blue and a black. So that's an interesting ability, kind of playing in the thought process of it's a mutant. It's a genetic hybrid, so you're not limited to casting it with just 2 required mana. It's sort of just a blend of mana colors. And it's a legendary creature with dinosaur that is a dinosaur mutant. And as long as Indominus Rex Alpha enters the battlefield, discard any number of creature cards. It enters with a flower with oh my god, what? It enters with a flying counter on it. If a card discarded this way has flying, the same is true for First Strike, Double Strike, Death Touch, Hexproof, Haste, Indestructible, Lifelink, Menace, Reach, Trample, and Vigilance. Excuse me. You can basically discard your entire hand and just turn Indominus Rex into obviously a mutant monstrosity, which it's supposed to be, you know? Oh, also forgot to mention, Grim Giganotosaurus is a 10 attack, 10 toughness. That thing's at the same level as the Godzilla card that I've got, and I can show off real quick. But anyway, Indominus Rex. When Indominus Rex enters the battlefield, draw a card for each counter on it. So yeah, so basically you discard your entire hand, you gain a whole bunch of counters, and whenever it comes out with those counters, you get to draw your hand back. And it's a 6/6. 6 attack, 6 toughness value card, and it basically shows the art of maybe the asset control unit trying to go out into the jungle to recapture Indominus Rex whenever it first escapes. Obviously, it's not going to end well for them. Next card, Indoraptor, the perfect hybrid. Once again, being a mutant, has that mixed mana cost value, where it is one color of a generic type, and 1 red specific, but also a green or black color optional. It is a legendary creature dinosaur mutant with the ability Bloodthirst X. This creature enters the battlefield with X 1/1 counters on it, where X is the damage dealt to your opponent this turn. Obviously, would mix very well with the Grim Giganotosaurus if you manage to just smack it with a full 10. And it has Menace, meaning that it can't be blocked by more than just one creature. And it has the Enrage ability. I love the Enrage ability. It was in the original, I believe it was in the original and the Rivals of Ixalan set, where basically whenever the dinosaur took damage of any kind, you got a special little perk for it. In which, whenever Indoraptor, the perfect hybrid, is dealt damage, choose an opponent at random. Indoraptor deals damage equal to its power to that player unless they sacrifice a non-token creature. That is scary, honestly. You can just choose any random opponent, if not just the person that you're fighting, and Indoraptor will deal damage equal to its power to that player, no matter what. So, once again, if you combine Indoraptor, the perfect hybrid, with Grim Giganotosaurus, who is a 10/10 creature, you're going to be smacking with Grim Giganotosaurus for 10. You're going to summon out Indoraptor. It's going to come out with additional 10 1/1 counters on it, making it a 13/11. And whenever you just smack it a little bit, it's going to be dealing 13 damage to your opponent, if not any random opponent. The hybrid cards, obviously being legendary creatures. Very scary. I can easily see someone trying to create a Henry Wu deck, basically exploiting smaller creatures to create treasure tokens to bring out the Indominus Rex and Indoraptor. And whenever Henry Wu you exploit, you also get to draw your card. So you can generate a huge hand with a whole bunch of different ability counters, get rid of your entire hand, put them all on Indominus Rex, redraw your entire hand because of Indominus Rex's ability, and obviously you're going to want Grim Giganotosaurus to be one of those cards, probably. Use Grim Giganotosaurus to attack, bring out Indoraptor, and, smack face for not even smacking face. Hail, Shamanic, I just got a off break at work. We're trying to close before local super popular band's concert end. The line of parallel parked cars stretches nearly a mile. Well, I certainly wish you the best of luck there, Gib. Ow. Hi, Akira. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day so far. Welcome in. We were just looking at all of the new the new Jurassic Park / World cards. You caught us practically, I think, either around the middle or the end of the card list, because there's a lot of cards here. But yes, obviously the Indoraptors, a 3/1. Ow. Thank you, Wild. The Indoraptor is obviously a 3/1 creature, but the Thank you. But yes, the Indoraptors are you too. Yeah, having fun now. But obviously the art for Indoraptor shows off it clambering up onto the top of the manor. I thought you could use some water. Thank you. You know what? I'll take that splash as an actual hydrate too, because doing all this talking is actually kind of making my mouth dry up. Much better. But yes, very good art. Feed. Indeed. No thank you, I just had dinner. But love the Indoraptor art, love its ability, very scary. Would definitely try and make a deck out of it. And I'm just scared about how expensive these cards are actually going to be. But, next card. Permission denied. A white and blue mana specific card, basically an instant, where you can counter a target non-creature spell, and your opponents can't cast non-creature spells this turn. So basically, no enchantments, no instances, no sorceries, and not even artifacts either, because, yeah, they're not creatures. So, that's actually very good. Actually, that's, ooh, well, obviously you gotta counter a creature spell first in order to activate the card, but permission denied seems like a very overpowered card for just a white and blue mana. And obviously the card art shows off Mr. Arnold as he's trying to fix what Nedry did to Jurassic Park, but he can't access his terminal because you didn't say the magic word. Please, God damn it, take this hacker crap. Love it. Love the card art. And then we've got the Ravenous Tyrannosaurus. This card looks beautiful. That's the first thing I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna mention its freaking ability or mana value or anything like that. It's obviously the big scene, the final climactic fight. Thank you. Obviously, of the Tyrannosaur after it defeats the Velociraptors and the banner falls down in front of the T-Rex. And obviously, Ravenous Tyrannosaurus has the ability Devour 3. As it enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice any number of creatures. This creature enters the battlefield with 3 times that many 1/1 counters on it for each of those creatures. So obviously, you can. I was waiting for that. Obviously, Devour 3 basically means that you can just add an extra +3/+3 if you sacrifice 3 creatures. And then whenever Ravenous Tyrannosaurus attacks, it deals damage equal to its power to up to one other target creature. Excess damage is dealt to that creature's controller. Dead. In that is, it's basically just ability trample, and ability trample is amazing. So not only are you attacking, but you're dealing damage to one other random creature, as well as a direct attack, and any excess damage from that additional attack is dealt to the player as well. So you can be swinging a 9/9, dealing 9 damage to a 6/6, and the excess 3 damage from that 6/6 would go towards the player, meaning you're dealing 12 damage instead of just 9. Ravenous Tyrannosaurus. Will want, do want, will get if it's the end of my freaking bank account. Next card. Swooping Pteranodon. Obviously, the Pteranodon attack during Jurassic World, whenever the Indominus breaks into the aviary, and then all the Pteranodon and Dimorphodon fly loose and start attacking people in the park. 3 mana of any value, and a red and a white specific. Obviously a dinosaur, but technically a flying reptile. Speaking of which, flying and haste, which are great. Though a 3/3, it must be a 3/3 for 5 mana. It's obviously going to have some level of great ability. Let's try and look at that. Whenever Swooping Pteranodon or another dinosaur with flying enters the battlefield under your control, pardon me, gain control of target creature and opponent controls until the end of the turn. Untap that creature. It also gains flying and haste until the end of the turn. And at the beginning of the next end step, target land deals 3 damage to that creature. So, let me get this straight. You've got Pteranodon swooping in, grabbing enemy creatures, flying them away, and then whenever it becomes the next end step, you can just have a land deal 3 damage to that creature. Okay, I see now. I see the kind of gimmick they're going for. Obviously, it's the Pteranodon. It's obviously the Pteranodon flying in the air, swooping down, grabbing someone off of the ground, flying away with them, but not being able to carry them very far because obviously they gotta drop it until the end of the next turn, and then that creature plummeting to the ground, crashing into the ground, and getting dealt damage. That is the most elaborate gimmick I've ever seen on a Magic the Gathering card, but I love it. That is a good ability. I do like that. Not only do you get to steal your opponent's creatures, you get to give it flying haste, untap it so you can use it, and then if it's a big monster, it just gets dealt 3 damage, but if it's a small creature, you just get to blow it up if it has at least 3 or less toughness. Swooping Pteranodon, everybody. I'm thinking that's a pretty good card. If I had to try and well, obviously we got to go for the last card before we try and think about what we would try and make a deck out of. Dino DNA, a 1 mana of any generic type, an artifact specific, and has the ability Imprint, kind of going off of John Hammond's they imprint on the first creature they see. That's it. Whenever in the first movie they encounter the baby velociraptor hatching, and he's the one trying to imprint on it so that it helps them to trust me, you know? And the imprint ability is at least 1 mana and tap Dino DNA. Exile target creature card from a graveyard, and you can only activate that as a sorcery. So, not bad, not bad. At least clear out any graveyard mechanics. And then for 6 mana, you can create a token that's a copy of target creature card exiled with Dino DNA, except it's a 6/6 green dinosaur creature with trample. So, yeah. Um you can take someone's shambling zombie or whatever that one I think it was called withered corpse or something, where it's basically just like it was a 1 mana black zombie creature card that if it gets destroyed, you can just spend a little bit of mana to bring it back to your hand. You can just steal that, turn it into a dinosaur, and use it on your side of the field. I like that. I like that a lot. And the quote for this card is Mr. A, basically saying dinosaurs left their blueprints behind for us. Obviously, not the exact quote. Basically, I believe the quote that this is trying to go off of was a DNA strand like me is a blueprint for creating a living thing. and and animals that left their left their blueprints behind millions of years ago, like dinosaurs. No, wait, it was. Let me try and say it over again. A DNA strand like me is the blueprint for building a living thing. And sometimes animals that went extinct millions of years ago, like dinosaurs, left their blueprints behind for us to find. We just needed to know where to look. That I believe is the proper quote for Mr. DNA. But obviously, it's supposed to be the card art itself is supposed to be John Hammond looking at the mosquito trapped in the amber on his walking stick at the end of the first Jurassic Park movie as they're flying away from the island. Very good, very nostalgic, and obviously, kind of it's supposed to just primarily be the mosquito trapped in the amber for that dino DNA. And obviously, love the card art. John Hammond being included into the cards is a major plus. So I recently found a card that can make a Skelly Boy you thinking wicked powerful. Feast of the Victory, I think it's called. Ah, well, uh, I'll have to try and look that card up. Pardon me. But before now is the time that we basically just go back through all of these cards and see what kind of deck we might try and make out of all these. I'm thinking, obviously, I like running green. Red and white is usually green, red, and white is usually the color combination that I associate with the dinosaur cards because obviously the red is all the fast moving like raptors. The green is all of our big tanky sauropods and ceratopsians. The red and the white is obviously our flying creatures, like the pteranodons. And Ravenous Tyrannosaurus being a red and green is kind of reminiscent of one of my favorite cards, Regisaur Alpha, which is basically a big feathered T-Rex. So, obviously, Ravenous Tyrannosaurus being that color combination makes sense. But if I was to try and make a deck out of these cards, I would primarily try and focus maybe I'd probably I'd probably try and focus green, red, white, and blue. I'd actually try and make a 4-color deck, I think. That way you would be able to focus on having a large number of these cards. Um Obviously don't move and cresting mosasaurs for that board control. Hunting Velociraptor, because obviously you can't have a Jurassic Park deck without including some level of Velociraptors. The green for Life Finds a Way and the Savage Order. That mechanic definitely seemed like it would work very well if you were able to actually get it off. The Legendary Land and the Saga of being able to just create walls out of big threats and then destroy them for all your dinosaurs. Can I do an Omni rematch? Oh, Tuesday night? We'll talk more about that there, Gib. Do not worry. But yeah, the ability of the saga, and then it becoming the legendary land where you're able to recycle dinosaurs that you send to the graveyard. That would work great, as well as along with Henry Wu's ability. Blue and Owen Grady obviously working together. You need those. You need the red, green, and blue just for them to actually work together. You won't be able to summon them regardless, unless you decided to use his ability to add that red mana instead. Be able to run the black colors. Ellie and Alan, you'd be able to run as well because you got the green, blue, and white. So you'll be able to excavate from your deck a specific dinosaur card that you might want to get, as long as obviously the mana value is appropriate. And then just recycle all the stuff to the bottom of the deck. In Dominus Rex, you wouldn't have to worry about the black optional colors. You'd just be able to use the blue and the green, as well as the Indoraptor, where you'll be able to use the red instead of the black. Permission denied. That would be a great combination. Ravenous Tyrannosaur, Swooping Pteranodon, and Dino DNA, just because it's a generic color. You don't need specifics. The only card, and you'd be able to throw in Ian and Malcolm. You'll be able to throw in practically every card in this deck, except, actually, you wouldn't even be able to throw in Henry Wu because he's black, blue, and green. So you would be missing out on Henry Wu, the Grim Giganotosaurus, potentially Indominus Rex, but obviously blue mana still works. Indoraptor, green mana still works in that regard too. You would have to also miss out on the Compy Swarm and the Spitting Dilophosaurus. So you'd be basically be running every other card except black. And even then, if you wanted to just run a 5-color deck and just combine any number of these cards together, that's still a possibility. You don't have to be specific if you don't want to be. You can just grab every single one of these cards and have fun with it. Obviously, though, you'd have to worry about mana costs because obviously Grim Giganotosaurus, Indominus Rex, oh jeez, we're not there yet. The Ravenous Tyrannosaurs, the Swooping Pteranodons, all of the dinosaurs are practically mana 4 or higher. So you don't want to set your deck up chock full of high value mana creatures and not be able to actually summon anything. You're gonna need to just take probably like one Cresting Mosasaur, one Grim Giganotosaurus. Be honest, you'll probably be okay running. Well, obviously you'd have to be careful about the legendary rule for the Indominus Rex and Indoraptor because it may be 3 mana, but you can only control one out of the field. But yeah, what I'm basically trying to say is I'm very much going to have fun trying to figure out how to set up a deck for these cards just on their own. Sadly, once again, I do have to say these cards won't be able to use in Magic the Gathering Arena because they weren't included. But overall, I'm going to say that this this collaboration with Jurassic Park is going to create a lot of fun decks for people, and I'm going to have a lot of fun trying to set my own deck up with it. On that note, though, I do believe it should be time that we go ahead and shift gears. Oh, wait a minute, I almost forgot. We got to look at the lands real quick, which is basically the command tower from Jurassic World and Fallen Kingdom, where you can tap it for 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity, because these cards are primarily set up for a commander deck. And Command Tower would be able to give you any mana color for whatever dinosaur you choose up here that you want as your commander. So you can have Indominus Rex as your commander, and you can either add a blue, a black, or green mana. And Command Tower or alternate art is basically just a Fallen Kingdom whenever the Brachiosaurs are walking around in front of the building of the now abandoned Jurassic World. And obviously we've got the planes, basically showing off the intro scene where the Brachiosaurus and the Parasaurolophus herd are nearby the lake, or the slaughtered sauropod herds of apatosaurs during Jurassic World, where Owen and Claire are looking over Indominus Rex's carnage. The island cards, where you've got the Mosasaurus, either feasting on the shark in the Jurassic World's Mosasaurus feeding arena, or during Fallen Kingdom, whenever they've got the sub going out trying to get Dominus Rex's remains, and the pod ends up getting attacked by the Mosasaur from behind. The swamp, where either it's the boat sailing down the river and the Spinosaurus is swimming up behind stalking them, or whenever the Spinosaurus attacks, sinks the boat, and Paul Kirby, I believe his name is Paul Kirby, sets fire to all the gas that's in the water surrounding the Spinosaurus and sends the Spinosaurus packing. Then we've got the mountain, where it's either the Gallimimus herd from the first movie running through the field, or the volcano, or what was it? The volcano was called Mount Saibo, I believe it was. Mount Saibo. Whenever Mount Saibo erupts during Fallen Kingdom, the T-Rex roars during its big explosion, and everyone starts running away from the pyroclastic flow. And then finally the forest, where it shows off basically the raptor pen, as it's supposed to be whenever it's operational. The electric fences are still on, and there's workers just monitoring the situation. Or whenever the fences go offline and the raptors break out. So yeah, overall, all of the arts, highly detailed, great designs, and very iconic scenes for the art itself. Once again, would love to try and make a deck out of all these cards. Probably cost a pretty penny, but it'll definitely be worth it. On that note, though, let's switch over to the main game screen and check out even more cards as we dive into the Caverns of Ixalan set. Let's do it! And here we go. The new and improved Ixalan background for Magic the Gathering Arena. Being able to figure out what the story is so far. All the new stuff, all the new bundle deals that they released for the Caverns of Ixalan. I will let you guys know already. I already got the pet. We're gonna have some raptors with our dinosaur decks now. And even though the cards themselves were not included, the cards were included in a sense as card sleeves. So if we go over here, and I've kind of got this set up already, but it's completely empty because it doesn't have any of the Ixalan cards in it. If you click on this right over here, obviously we've got Ellen and Alan, we've got the Dino DNA, Ian Malcolm, we've got Mr. Arnold, the Spinning Dilophosaur, the Hunting Raptors, the Ravenous Tyrannosaurus, and the Sinoceratops from the Life Finds a Way card as card sleeves. Gotta love them. It's beautiful. I love it very much. And our companion here is basically the Cave Raptor for the Rivals of Ixalan set. So, enough beating around the bush. Save and exit. Fine. Fine. We'll fill in the deck as we open all of these. I managed to grab at least 12 big packs, but then we also have a mythic rare pack as the big finale as we go through all these cards. Probably hoping for something really good. And from the Lost Caverns of Ixalan set, we can be pulling anything from pirates to dinosaurs to merfolk or vampire conquistadors. So, without further ado, let's open the first pack. Oh, also, we're gonna need to change our category over to Magic the Gathering. That way we're not just sitting in, just chatting. There we go. So, we've got quite a number of interesting cards already. Rampaging Ceratops. Rampaging Ceratops can't be blocked except by 3 or more creatures. That is surprising, actually. For a 5/4. Pardon me. Song of Stupefaction. Enchant creature or vehicle. When Song of Stupefaction enters the battlefield, you may mill 2 cards. Fathomless Descent. Enchanted permanent gets -X -0, where X is the number of permanent cards in your graveyard. So basically, really stupefying your opponent's monster by just the number of cards in your graveyard, where you can either just minus it by 1 or minus it by every single card in your deck, or every single card in your graveyard. Pardon me. Idol of the Deep King, an artifact that has flash, and when it enters the battlefield, you can deal 2 damage to any target. And you can pay an additional 3 mana to craft an artifact, which is the Sovereign's Makua Huidal. I apologize if I butchered that. A equipment basically saying when Sovereign Sword, I'm just gonna say sword for now, enters the battlefield, attach it to the target creature you control. It gets 2 additional attack and has the equip value of 2. The Sunshot Militia, human soldiers. Tap 2 untapped artifacts and or creatures control. And Militia deals 1 damage to each opponent. Activate only as a sorcery. Not bad. The Malamet Veteran, a cat warrior. Sort of, I guess, and it's the Jaguar warrior, where basically we're playing off of the South American kind of vibe. And it's got Trample and Descend 4. When Malamet the Veteran attacks, if there are 4 or more permanent cards in your graveyard, put a 1/1 on target creature. Bad. Thousand Moons Crackshot. Whenever Thousand Moons Crackshot attacks, you may pay 3 mana, and when you do, tap a target creature. Okay. I mean, interesting enough, but the additional mana cost just to tap may not be the greatest. I can easily see this card. I mean, obviously, if you're not wanting to run dinosaurs, it could be good, but I could see this card. I could see myself replacing this card with the Thundering Hammerskull that is from the previous Ixalan deck, where as long as you're just attacking, you get to tap a target creature for free. Close early enough, I may actually be able to hop on at a game from the mobile edition. Fair enough. I mean, best of luck in terms of getting out early. And then we've got a legendary skeleton horror named Uken Benbach, the Great Mistake. Vigilance and Menace with Descend 8. Return Uken. Oh, return. Wait. Descend 8. 4 mana with blue and black additional. So it's mana in total. Return Ukenbach, the Great Mistake, from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it. A permanent with a finality counter on it would go to a graveyard. It's exiled instead. And activate only if there are 8 or more permanent cards in your graveyard and only as a sorcery. That is interesting enough, I suppose. Obviously with Vigilance and Menace, big hitter that is going to require more than 1 creature to block it. And that card art alone is just terrifying. But our legendary or rare plus card is Terror Tide. Fathomless Descent. All creatures get -X -X until end of turn, where X is the number of permanent cards in your graveyard. Obviously, good board wipe for 4 mana. Continue. The next deck, or pack, I should say. The Ruin Lurker Bat. Flying lifelink, and at the beginning of your end step, if you descended this turn, scry 1. Hotfoot Gnome. It's a robot gnome. Haste. Other target creature gains haste until end of turn. Not bad. Plundering Pirate. When Plundering Pirate enters the battlefield, create a treasure token. Hidden Nursery. When it enters the battlefield, tapped, and you can sacrifice it to discover 4. And discover is exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card with mana value 4 or less. You can cast it without paying its mana cost or put it into your hand. Not bad, not bad. The Acolyte of Al-Khazats. Sacrifice another creature or artifact. Each opponent loses life and you gain life. The Brackish Plunder. Or Brackish Blunder, I should say. Return target creature to its owner's hand. If it was tapped, create a map token. And the map token says, if you can tap it for 1 mana, sacrifice this artifact. Target creature you control explores. Where explore is, reveal the top card of your library, put that card into your hand if it's a land, otherwise put a 1/1 counter on this creature, then put the card back or put it into your graveyard. A little confusing, but I can see how map works. And then Tendril of the Myco Tyrant, a fungus wizard. Put 7 1/1 counters on target non-creature land you control. It becomes a 0/0 fungus creature with haste. So obviously you're making a fungus creature that's a 7/7. Why not just say that instead of putting a whole bunch of counters on it? I'm guessing the counters come into some level of value for another card where it focuses on counters. Next. The Restless Anchorage. Not a legendary land, but just a land, and it enters the battlefield tapped. Either tap it for white or blue mana, or you can pay 3 mana until end of turn. Restless Anchorage becomes a 2/3 white and blue bird creature with flying, and it's still a land. And whenever Anchorage attacks, create a map token. Interesting. Next cards. Ooh, we got ourselves just a wild card. That's nice. In the Presence of Ages. Instant card. Reveal the top 4 cards of your library. Put a creature card and or land card among them into your hand and the rest of your graveyard. Interesting. Burning Sun Cavalry, a human knight. Whenever Burning Sun Cavalry attacks or blocks while you control a dinosaur, Burning Sun Cavalry gets 1/1 until end of turn. Obviously, just supposed to be, the human riding the dinosaur. Runaway Boulder. Indiana Jones, anyone? Flash, and when Runaway Boulder enters the battlefield, it deals 6 damage to target creature an opponent controls. But for 6 mana too? 6 mana to deal 6 damage, or you can cycle it. Over the Edge. Choose one. Destroy a target artifact or enchantment, or target creature you control explores, and explores again. Glorifier of Suffering. A vampire conquistador soldier. When Glorifier of Suffering enters the battlefield, you can sacrifice another creature or artifact. When you do, put a 1/1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures. Vampires. Nope, wrong button. Vampires. And then Zoetic Glyph. Enchant artifact. Okay, so it's an aura that you enchant an artifact with, and it becomes a golem creature with base power and toughness 5/4 in addition to its other types. When Zoetic Glyph is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, discover 3. Interesting. Basically creating just a giant water golem. I like it. Out of just any artifact you got. You can turn the map into a golem if you wanted to. And then our very sparkly boy is Chimil, the Inner Sun. A legendary artifact. Spells you control can't be countered. At the beginning of your end step, discover 5. Interesting. Deck number 9. Ooh, we've got a couple of interesting cards. A Cavernous Maw, a special cave where it becomes a 3/3 with 2 mana. Otherwise, you tap it for generic mana. An elemental creature. Oh, it becomes an elemental creature that's a 3/3 until end of turn. It's still a land. Activate only if the number of caves you control plus the number of cave cards in your graveyard is 3 or greater. Okay, so obviously you need to make the cave. You basically need to have the cave, but also get rid of the cave to make the danger cave. Obviously, we already saw Idol of the Deep King, Glorifier of Summoning, the Volatile Wanderglyph. Whenever Wanderglyph becomes tapped, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. The River Herald Scout. Whenever River Herald Scout enters the battlefield, it explores. Okay. The Teething Blade. When Teething Blade enters the battlefield, each opponent sacrifices a creature, and you can craft with creature for 5 mana. And at the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life for the Pulcher. Interesting. And the Guardian of the Great Door, an angel. As an additional cost to cast the spell, tap 4 untapped artifacts, creatures, and or lands you control. Obviously, for a 2 mana or 2 white mana creature, as a 4/4, that would make a little bit of sense for it to have that kind of cost. Especially for a flying creature. And our special card is a rare wild card. That'll definitely come in. Number 8. We already saw Tendril the Micro Tyrant. We saw the Teething Blade. Pathfinding Axejaw. This is interesting. A dinosaur where when it enters the battlefield, it explores. So a 4 mana, 4/3 that lets you look at the top card of your library. Either put it in your hand if it's a land, otherwise create a 1/1 counter or put a 1/1 counter on this creature. Put that card into your graveyard. Interesting. Child of the Volcano, an elemental 3/3 with trample at the beginning of your end step. If you descended this turn, put a 1/1 counter on the Child of the Volcano. Oh, and the Oat Clan Landmark, or the Otaclan Landmark. When it enters the battlefield, scry 2, and you can craft with the artifact the Otaclan Levitator, a 1/4 golem creature with flying. Whenever it attacks, target attacking creature without flying gains flying until end of turn. Not bad, not bad. And then the Abyssal Gore Stalker, a horror, 6 mana, 6/6. And when it enters the battlefield, each player sacrifices 2 creatures. So, very scary. And our special card is the Preacher of the Schism. 3 mana, 2/4, Vampire Cleric with Death Touch. And whenever it attacks the player with the most life or tied for most life, you create a 1/1 vampire creature token with lifelink. And whenever the Preacher of the Schism attacks while you have the most life or are tied for the most life, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. Obviously, it kind of makes sense for it, I suppose, because you're generating lifelink vampires, and for 3 mana, you got a 2/4. I can understand that. That's pretty cool. Vampires are having fun today. Ooh! A Calamitous Cave-In, a sorcery. Deals X damage to each creature and each planeswalker, where X is the number of caves you control, plus the number of cave cards in your graveyard. Interesting. Shipwreck Sentry, a defender, human pirate, and as long as an artifact entered the battlefield under your control this turn, you can attack as though Shipwreck Sentry didn't have defender. Good. Hidden Volcano enters the battlefield tapped, tap for 1 red mana, or you can pay 5 mana and tap this for sacrificing it, discovering 4. Interesting, interesting. The Goblin Tomb Raider, a goblin pirate, 1/2 for 1 mana, 1 red mana. As long as you control an artifact, Goblin Tomb Raider gets 1 attack and has haste. Good, not bad. Quicksand Whirlpool, an instant. Spell costs 3 less to cast if it taps or targets a tapped creature. Get to exile it. The Chupacabra Echo, 4 mana. Beast Horror Spirit, Fathomless Descent. When the Chupacabra enters the battlefield, target creature an opponent controls gets -X until turn, where X is the number of permanent cards in your graveyard. So obviously, Caverns of Ixalan is focusing on sending cards to the graveyard and gaining benefits for having a large number of different types of cards in your graveyard. I see. And our card? The Brass Tunnel Grinder. A legendary artifact. When it enters the battlefield, discard any number of cards. Then draw that many cards +1. So basically just throw out your entire hand, then draw a new hand, plus an additional card. At the beginning of your end step, if you descended this turn, put a boar counter on Brass Tunnel Grinder. Then if it has 3 or more boar counters on it, remove those counters and transform it in Takultan, the Searing Rift. A legendary land where you can cast a permanent spell using mana produced by Takultan, the Searing Rift. Discover X, where X is the spell's mana value. That's a lot. That's a lot of abilities. Next card. Hello, what? Itzkin, the firstborn of Gisheth? Gisheth's got a kid? A legendary creature dinosaur with haste. When Itzkin, the firstborn of Gisheth, enters the battlefield, you can pay 2 mana of any color. When you do, target dinosaur you control deals damage equal to its power to another target creature. Excuse me for a moment. Better. What? So you can just have this little red-green dinosaur just sitting on your field, pay an additional 2 mana, and have him say, hey, you see that thing over there? Just deal damage to it without even attacking it. That's amazing. Obviously the child of Gisheth, the sun's avatar, would have an ability like that. Firstborn of Gisheth? So there's more? Yeah, this is true too. How many other children of Gisheth are there? Or is it just literally it's Gisheth's first kid? That's how I interpreted it, basically. Basically, Gisheth now has a child. And then we've got the Cartographer's Companion, another gnome, where the companion enters the battlefield, create a map token. The Brazen Blade Master, an orc pirate. Whenever the Brazen Blade Master attacks, while you control 2 or more artifacts, it gets 2/1. So basically, you're turning it into a 4/4 instead of a 2/3. And then the Hidden Cataract. When it enters the battlefield tapped, you can tap it for a blue mana, or you can pay 5 mana and tap the Hidden Cataract to sacrifice it. Discover 4. Join the Dead. Looks like a dinosaur is being pulled off of a cliff by a bunch of wraiths. An instant card. Target creature gets -5/-5 until the end of turn. And descend 4, where that creature gets -10 and -10 until end of turn instead if there are 4 or more permanent cards in your graveyard. Horrible. Adaptive Gem Guard. Another gnome, where you can tap 2 untapped artifacts and or creatures you control. Put a 1/1 counter on the Adaptive Gem Guard. Interesting. And then the Gargantuan Leech. An 8 mana leech creature that 5/5. With the ability, this spell costs 1 less to cast for each cave you control and each cave card in your graveyard. And it also has lifelink. Interesting. And then our special card is another brass tunnel grinder. Fair enough. Continue. Another chance. You may mill 2 cards, then return up to 2 creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. Okay. We saw the Teething Blade, the Hidden Volcano, Captivating Cave, a land cave. Add a generic mana, or you can 1 mana of any color and tap it. Add 1 mana of any color. So basically, you're turning 1 color mana into a different color mana. Or you're gonna take 4 mana and tap it, sacrifice the Captivating Cave, and put 2 1/1 counters on a creature. Interesting. Thousand Moons Infantry. Untap Thousand Moons Infantry during each player's untap step. So it's basically ability vigilance. Thousand Moons Infantry during each other player's untap step. So it doesn't untap on your turn. It untaps on everyone else's turn. So it's a good blocker. That's basically all I'm saying. Unless you don't attack with it. Then it's just basically untapped when it comes to your turn. Explorer's Cache, an artifact. Explorer's Cache enters the battlefield with 2 1/1 counters on it. Whenever a creature you control with a 1/1 counter on it dies, put a 1/1 counter on Explorer's Cache. Then you can tap Explorer's Cache to move a 1/1 counter from the cache onto a creature. So basically, bank for all of your 1/1 counters. Not bad. And our legendary card is not legendary. Warden of the Inner Sky. Are we going into the Hollow Earth now? Is this what Ixalan is? Or Caverns of Ixalan is? Going into freaking Monsterverse? Speaking of which, hope all y'all are having fun with Monarch Legacy of the Monsters if you have Apple TV. Not sponsored. Yeah, that also comes out today, doesn't it? Back to the cards. Warden of the Inner Sky, a 1 white mana creature, that's a 1/2. As long as Warden of the Inner Sky has 3 or more counters on it, it has flying and vigilance. And tap 3 untapped artifacts and or creatures you control, put a 1/1 counter on Warden of the Inner Sky, and scry 1. Interesting. 4 more packs. Captain Storm, the Cosmium Raider, a legendary pirate. A blue-red creature, that's a 2/2. And whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 counter on target pirate you control, not just Captain Storm. Bad. All those. Malamet Scythe. Artifact equipment that has flash, and when it enters the battlefield, attach it to a target creature you can control. It has 2/2, or it gets 2/2, and the equip cost is 4. Not bad. Armored Kincaller, Parasaurolophus card. When it's a 3 mana, 3/3. When Armored Kincaller enters the battlefield, you can reveal a dinosaur card from your hand. If you do, or if you control another dinosaur, you gain 3 life. Not bad. Good, health generator, I suppose. And that's just whenever it enters the battlefield. So, 1 and done kind of ability. Not bad. Gold Fury Strider, a golem. That's a 3/5, but a 5 mana creature with trample. Tap 2 untapped artifacts and or creatures you control. Target creature gets 2 additional attack until end of turn. Activate only as a sword. I mean, obviously you can target yourself to make it a 5/5, but you just have to have the artifacts to tap. And our card is the Ixalan Larcenist. Human pirate with flying and ward 1. When Ixalan Larcenist enters the battlefield, for each player, choose up to 1 other target artifact or creature that player controls. For as long as Ixalan Larcenist remains on the battlefield, the chosen permanents become treasure artifacts with sacrifice this artifact, add 1 mana of any color, and lose all other abilities. That's actually a really good card. Basically, turning all of your opponent's artifacts. Artifact or creature. Okay, so it's artifact or creature that just become treasure tokens, and you have to sacrifice them because they don't have any other value at that point. I like that. The next card. Ooh, we got a Merfolk, a legendary. Niskanzil, the current conductor. Merfolk Scout, that is a 2 mana, blue and green specific 2/3, where whenever a creature you control explores a land card, you may put that land card from your hand onto the battlefield tapped. Whenever a creature you control explores a non-land card, put 1/1 counter on Niskanzil. I like that. Good Merfolk generation. And then, not only mana ramp, but counters for this Merfolk specifically. Careening Minecart. Whenever Careening Minecart attacks, create a treasure token, and you need at least 1 creature to crew it. Because it's a vehicle, technically. So it doesn't become a creature until you tap a creature for it to crew the cart. It becomes a 3 mana for 3/3. Not bad. Already saw that. The Hidden Necropolis. Basically, another one of those cave lands that you can sacrifice to discover 4. Kind of like the Hidden Nursery, which we already know about. The Oltec Archaeologists. When Oltec Archaeologists enter the battlefield, choose one. Either return a target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand, or scry 3. Not bad. And for a 5 mana 4/4, having at least one of those abilities where you can either send an artifact your opponent controls, send an artifact your graveyard to your hand, or just discover something in your deck. And our legendary card is... Ooh, a legendary spirit. Abuelo, the Ancestral Echo. I kind of like his design. Kind of got that South American shaman kind of look. You got a mortar and pestle and a sacrificial dagger, it looks like. But Abuelo, our flying spirit creature, is a 3 mana, 1 white, 1 blue specific with 2/2. Flying and ward 2, and for 3 mana of his own mana value. Exile another target creature or artifact you control, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end. So basically you're flashing things out and bringing it back out to the field. Not bad. Kathy! Well, what's up? Welcome in. I certainly hope you're having a wonderful day. Don't mind us, we're just looking at a lot of cards. We already looked at the Jurassic Park cards that they released, and now we're just checking out some of the Lost Caverns of Ixalan stuff now. Ooh, I'm starting to see a lot more dinosaurs. I'm happy. Ancestor's Aid. Target creature gets +2 and gains first strike until end of turn. Create a treasure token. Brood Rage Mycoid, a fungus creature. 4 mana, 1 black specific, 4/3. At the beginning of your end step, if you descended this turn, create a 1/1 black fungus creature token. With this creature can't block. Thing. The Caverns Stomper, a 6 mana, 2 green specific, 7/7 dinosaur, another Parasaurolophus, where Cavern Stomper enters the battlefield, scry 2. And for 4 mana, you can have Cavern Stomper be unblockable by creatures with power 2 or less this turn. Nice. I like it. Plundering Pirate again, we already saw that. The Nurturing Bristleback. Looks like a Lambeosaurus, if not a Corythosaur. Yeah, it's a Corythosaurus. And it's a 7 mana, 5/5 dinosaur, 2 green specific, where when it enters the battlefield, create a 3/3 green dinosaur creature token with forest cycling, where you can basically just pay 2 mana to search for a forest basic land. Interesting. Spelunking, an enchantment. 3 mana, 1 green specific. When Spelunking enters the battlefield, draw a card. Then you can put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. If you put a cave onto the battlefield this way, you get 4 life. Lands you control enter the battlefield untapped. So, great for the cave mechanic, where they all just come out tapped. Your day is meh and a dino card in Magic? Indeed, we've got plenty of dinosaur cards in Magic the Gathering. Ixalan is one of my favorite multiverses in Magic universe. You're thinking of making an instant-only Omni deck? An instant-only Omni deck? What? For the lulz? So you what? Just nothing but instant cards? Because how you get? I mean, I suppose there's at least some level of dealing damage with cards, but how are you gonna try and like defend yourself from? Then again, you know what? I'm interested in how you actually do that, Gib. I can see how it might happen, but I can also see some flaws in that deck idea mechanic. Anyway, magic card. Alani's Hatcher. Looks like a sauropod with a interesting crest. A 5 mana, 1 green, 1 red specific, 5/3 dinosaur creature card, where other dinosaurs you control have haste, and when Palani's Hatcher enters the battlefield, create a 0/1 green dinosaur egg creature token. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control 1 or more eggs, sacrifice 1, then create a 3/3 dinosaur creature token. This is an interesting card. Like a sauropod hatchery. A sauropod hatchery manager. This is interesting. I like it though. Not necessarily a good deck, but would probably be funny. Fair enough. I mean, technically you do have instant cards that generate like token creatures, so that could work, I suppose. And then our last basic pack. Come on, give me some good dinosaurs. You didn't even give me a dinosaur. Furful Cave Diver. Whenever a creature you control explores, Merfolk Cave Diver gets 1 attack until end of turn and can't be blocked this turn. So kind of like the River Scout from the previous Ixalan deck. At veteran, we know Cosmium Blast. Cosmium Blast deals 4 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. Not bad. Not bad. Another Alkalite of Alkazats. Another Burning Sun. The Orazca Puzzle Door. 1 blue mana artifact where you can use 1 mana and tap it to sacrifice Orazca Puzzle Door. Look at the top 2 cards of your library, put 1 of those cards into your hand and the other into your graveyard. Then the Curator of Sun's Gation. A 4 mana, 3/3 human artificer, where whenever you discover again for the same value. This ability triggers only once each turn. Interesting. And our final card is the Braided Net, an artifact where it enters the battlefield with 3 net counters on it. You can tap it to remove a net counter from Braided Net, to tap another target non-land permanent. Its activated abilities can't be activated for as long as it remains tapped. Craft an artifact with it. You can turn that net into a braided Kipu. Interesting. And that artifact, for 4 mana and tapping it, allows you to draw a card for each artifact you control. Then put the braided Kipu into its owner's library, 3rd from the top. Interesting, I suppose. And now for our mythic pack. Please be good. Okay, I'm seeing some interesting stuff here. Might of the Ancestors. I like the sound of it. An enchantment, 3 mana, 1 white specific. At the beginning of combat, on your turn, target creature you control gets additional 2 attack and gains vigilance until end of turn. Cool. Gotta love the Jaguar, people. We already know about Join the Dead. We already know about Sunshot Militia. Disturbed Slumber. Until end of turn, target land you control becomes a 4/4 dinosaur with reach and haste. It's still a land, but it must be blocked this turn if able. Interesting. How am I doing today? I'm doing pretty good. Good day today. Was able to get everything I needed at work done pretty quickly, and now get to look at all the dinosaur cards with you guys. You know, you gotta love that. You gotta love being able to look at the dinosaurs. The Mephitic Draught. When Mephitic Draught enters the battlefield or is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, draw a card and you lose 1 life. Kind of looks like the serum in Disney's Hercules that Hades gives Pain and Panic to give to Hercules to turn immortal. And how are you doing today there, Zephy? Caparocti Sunborn. Human Soldier, which is a 4/4 with 4 mana, 1 white, 1 red specific. And when Caparocti Sunborn attacks, you may tap 2 untapped artifacts and or creature control, and you can cover 3. Interesting. Doing okay? Well, this is good to hear. Certainly hope your day is good. If not, gets better. And the big card is... Please. Let it be a dinosaur. Game? Game? The card was so powerful it broke the game. No, I mean legitimately, it broke the game. Is it a dinosaur? I can't see it. I can't see anything outside of Bone Horde. Well, whatever it is, it's a Bone Horde that's at least 5 mana, 2 red specific, and it's a 5/5. Hang on a minute. Oh, yep. We're gonna just need to close that program real quick. Okay, so I love it whenever Magic the Gathering suddenly decides to die off of its own cards. Well, at least you guys get to see the loading screen. Server, are you alive? Are you okay? We're gonna need to try and go into our decks now to look at that card. Let's see here. We're looking for the Lost Caverns of Ixalan. It was a red color card. And it was like 5 mana. Bone Horde Dracosaur. Hey, you know what? It's a dinosaur, but it's also a dragon. It's a... looks like some level of Pteranodon. Or Pterosaur, specifically. It's a flying first strike, where at the beginning of your upkeep, you can exile the top 2 cards of your library. You may play them this turn. If you exiled a land card this way, create a 3/1 red dinosaur creature token. And if you exiled a non-land card this way, just create a regular treasure token. Fascinating. So, we've got quite the number of interesting cards. I'm very interested in what other cards we may have missed out on, though. So, let's get rid of the color-specific stuff. Activate the not collected mechanic. And, you know what? Just so we're not completely spoiling everything that's the set? How about we just look at all the dinosaurs? Soaring Sandwing. Whenever it enters the battlefield, you gain 3 life, and it has plane cycling. Basically, just a flying, looks like Tropiognathus, a, um, or a, not a Tapejara, it's a, ooh, why am I drawing a blank on this? I know this dinosaur. It was a playable dinosaur in a game called Primal Carnage as well. Tupondactylus, that's what it was. Relic's Roar, an instant card, and in turn, target artifact or creature becomes a dinosaur artifact creature with base power and toughness 4/3 in addition to its other types. The Raging Spiketail, that's an interesting stegosaur. It's obviously a giant stegosaurus. If it's a 5/6 or 6 mana. And whenever Raging Spiketail enters the battlefield, target creature control gets 2 additional attack and gains indestructible. Swamp cycling. The Sinuous Benthosaur. Basically a plesiosaur. With the ability, when it enters the battlefield, look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of caves you control, plus the number of cave cards in your graveyard. Put those cards from your hand to the rest. Put those 2 cards into your hand and the rest at the bottom of your library. Throne of the Grim Captain. Make apparently a really cool skeleton spirit pirate. Burning Sun Cavalry. The Belligerent Yearling. Like a infant Carnotaurus. Whenever another dinosaur enters the battlefield under your control, you can have belligerent Yearling's base power become equal to that creature's power until end of turn. That's cool. The Panicking Altosaur. Basically a Brachiosaurus trying to escape a volcano, it looks like. But crashing through a stone path that a couple of humans are trying to cross through. Got reach, and it deals 2 damage to each opponent whenever you tap it. The Seismic Monstrosaur. I'm going to say that looks like a Kakarodontosaur. Probably Kakarodontosaurus. It's a 6/5, 6 mana dinosaur with trample, and you can pay 3 mana to sacrifice a land to draw a card. I like it. It's cool. The Scythe Claw Raptor. 3 mana, 4/3. Whenever a player casts a spell, if it's not their turn, Scythe Claw deals 4 damage to them. Talk about burn. What kind of I could technically make it if I need to. The Dinotomaton. It's a dinosaur gnome that has menace, and whenever it enters the battlefield, target creature you control gains menace. Interesting. And then the Trumpeting Carnosaur. This looks like this practically looks like a Giganotosaurus. Where it has trample, and Trumpeting Carnosaur enters the battlefield, discover 5, and for 3 mana, discard Trumpeting Carnosaur. It deals 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker. Interesting. Interesting. I think for 6 mana, 7/6 probably works better as a creature. But obviously, if you want to try and get rid of probably an annoying planeswalker that only needs 3 more damage, I can see you using Carnosaur's second ability for that. Then we got the Thrashing Brontodon. That's just a reprint for a already existing card, where you can just pay 1 mana to have it destroy an artifact or an enchantment. Hello there, Wild. Colossadactyl. Looks like a giant cave-dwelling dinosaur with reach and trample. No other abilities. Interesting. The Intrepid Paleontologist. Druid, exile target card from a graveyard. You may cast dinosaur creature spells from among cards you own exiled with Intrepid Paleontologist. If you cast a spell this way, that creature's battlefield with finality content. Basically, it gets exiled if it... The Hulking Raptor. Ward 2 at the beginning of your pre-combat main phase. Add 2 free green mana. That ability's overpowered. I like it. Huatli, the poet of unity. Huatli got ourselves some, looks like, I don't even know what kind of weapons those are. They look like, oh, I forget what it's actually called, but, if anyone has ever played League of Legends, Renekton has a huge version of those blades. And then you can have her enter the battlefield, search your library for a basic land, put it to your hand, then shuffle. For 5 mana, you can have her transform into her Saga, where you create 2 3/3 green dinosaur creature tokens. Roar of the Fifth People gains creatures you control have tap for red, green, or white. Search your library for a dinosaur card, reveal it, put it to your hand, then shuffle, and then dinosaurs you control gain double strike, trample until end of turn. Bad. The Pugnacious Hammerskull. When Pugnacious Hammerskull attacks while you don't control another dinosaur, put a stun counter on it. Stun counters are, if a permanent with a stun counter would become untapped, remove it instead. Interesting. The Earthshaker Dreadmaw. A gigantic Tyrannosaurus, it looks like. For 6 mana, it's a 6/6 trampler. When Earthshaker Dreadmaw enters the battlefield, draw a card for each other dinosaur you control. Nice. And then we've got Ghalta, the ever-popular Tyrannosaur. The Stampede Tyrant. 5, 6, 7, 8 mana. It's a 12/12 with trample. And when Ghalta enters the battlefield, you can put any number of creature cards from your hand onto the battlefield. Ghalta at its finest. And the Skull Spore Nexus. An 8 mana artifact where this spell costs X less to cast, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. Whenever one or more non-token creatures you control die, create a green fungus dinosaur creature token with base power and toughness equal to the total power of those creatures. And then you can use 2 mana and tap Skull Spore Nexus, double that creature's power until end of turn. Interesting. And of course, a recopy of the best dinosaur ever, Gisheth, the Sun's avatar. The legendary Vigilance Trample Haste, where whenever he deals combat damage to an opponent, you get to look at the top cards of your deck equal to the amount of damage that you've dealt to the player, and add to your field any number of dinosaurs from what you have revealed. Return the rest of the bottom of your library in any random order. I am a huge fan of Gisheth. And the fact that we now actually have Gisheth's son, and or daughter, just as firstborn, just makes my day even more. So, I'm gonna say, we're gonna try and modify one of our previous decks with the cards that we got now. Ixalan History. This is what we're actually going to do. This is actually probably going to be the better idea. We're going to... Can we duplicate this? We can clone this deck. Yes. We're going to call it New Ixalan Reborn. That way we can just... Yes, I'm working on that. Okay, fine. Delete this. Thank you. Ixalan Reborn will become... just regular Reborn, not 2. Now we can open that up. There we go. So let's go ahead and see here. We're going to be focusing on the Lost Caverns of Ixalan to add to this deck. We're looking for dinosaur cards. Let's see here. What can we try and add? What can we replace? What can we take out? And what can we add in? Obviously, what I want to say is, we can get rid of the Bonded Horncrests. I love my Ceratopsians, but the fact that they can't attack or block on their own, obviously a bit of a detriment. These Scythe Claw Raptors, they really caught my eye whenever we were looking through the cards initially. Where if a player casts a spell that isn't on their turn, it gets dealt 4, they just deal 4 damage to the player directly. That sounded amazing. So we're just gonna go ahead and add 2 of those real quick. Throw 2 of those in there. There's the Panic Altasaur, where it just has reach, and you deal 2 damage to each opponent. Not exactly the greatest, as far as I understand. See here. Got the Rampaging Ceratops, where it can't be blocked except by 3 or more creatures. But as itself, as a 5/4 for 5, I'd probably even say the Bonding Horcrest. Well, no, I wouldn't say the Bonding Horcrest would be. Probably say the Rampaging Ceratops would have its Regisaur Alpha. Obviously, we want to keep our Tyrannosaurus leader who gives other dinosaurs haste. That is very much needed. Grazing Whiptail is good for a dinosaur that can heal or defend. Growing Rites of Itlamok, that's a good card just because it turns into a legendary land and helps us search for other dinosaurs. Our Territorial Hammerskull, I do like the ability where you just tap it whenever it attacks. We're not getting rid of that. Nest Robber. I mean, Nest Robber's good for just early game damage, but I can probably see it being replaced with something else too. Watley the Warrior Poet, who gives us our dinosaur token and is able to deal damage based on the X value, and you gain life. So yeah, that's good. Bird and Sun's Avatar. Obviously, it's a legendary dinosaur that gives you life whenever it or another creature enters the battlefield. Gain health equal to its toughness. That's great. Why would I get rid of Gisheth? Itali, exile cards from opponent's decks and cast it without paying mana cost. Why would you not want that? Let's see here. We might be able to get rid of maybe some Kinjali's Haulers. Keep the Otapek Huntmaster. Because they at least reduce your spells by 1, and they give your dinosaurs haste. Kinjali's Collar can still stick around though, because it's 0/3/1. That reduces your dinosaur costs. That's just good in general. What I know for a fact I'm going to do is add Itzkinth, because Firstborn of Gisheth needs to be added into the deck. And then, let's see here. The Cavern Stomper lets you scry. Can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less this turn. I mean, it'd just be cool just to have a Parasaurolophus as boss monster. But Polani's Hatcher as well, being able to generate eggs that turn into creature or dinosaurs. Control at least 1 or more eggs. And when Polani's Hatcher is battlefield, create 2 1 green dinosaur egg creatures. So that means it doesn't generate more eggs outside of just the 2 that it creates when it comes out of the battlefield. Cool, but not the greatest effect. And then the Hulking Raptor, that was the one that was definitely overpowered too, where it just gives you 2 free green mana at the beginning of your pre-combat main phase. So yeah, try and squeeze that in there, Sarabor. We're not getting rid of Savage Stomp. Savage Stomp is needed just to help us get rid of annoying creatures and abilities. Maybe get rid of... Maybe we can get rid of Slash of Ellen. Oh, no. They'll say. Claw Raptor. Ripjaw Raptor? Would get rid of Ripjaw, but that's just a 4/5 being traded out for something else. I say throw in the Cavern Stomper at the very least. Greetings, Captain Crazy! Certainly hope you're having a wonderful day so far. Welcome to us trying to modify our decks. Do I have the One Ring? I do not have the One Ring. Unfortunately, I was not able to pull that. I don't even have the, well, I know for a fact that I don't have the very special One Ring that they only printed one of. I believe, a very popular celebrity has that one now. But I don't even have just a generic One Ring card, so boo-hoo me. The Armored Kincaller. You only just gain 1 life. Reveal a dinosaur card from your hand. But it's still pretty cool. Outside of that, I'm thinking there isn't really else that we can get rid of. Unless Triumphant Chomp deals damage to target creature equal to 2, or the greatest power among dinosaurs you control, whichever is greater. So we can practically get rid of Lightning Strike and have Triumphant Chomp, where at least it does 2 damage, or whatever damage is equal to the greatest value on my field, versus just a generic 3 or 2. How much is it going to cost me to make one of these? Yes, they only created one ring card that is of the $1 million value. That is why it's called the One Ring. And then we also have this Boneyard Dracosaur. Flying in first strike. Exile the top 2 cards of your library. You can play them this turn. Obviously, you need the mana value for it, though. And then create a 3/1 red dinosaur creature token if you exiled a non-land card this way. No, if you exiled a land card this way, create a 3/1 red dinosaur creature token. And if you didn't, create just a regular treasure. Yeah, it's never going to get played. That card is just basically going to be kept in a nice little case and preserved. Anyone who actually does decide to play with the One Ring, they're a fool. The Earthshaker Dreadmaw as well, though. You can draw a card for each other dinosaur you control. I mean, it'd be good and reset, that's for sure. When it enters the battlefield, scry 2 or draw a card for each dinosaur you control. Unfortunately, I'm gonna say sorry, Cavern Stomper. You'll have to take a seat for now, because Earthshaker Dreadmaw. If we can get that out with Gishith's ability, that would be 10 times even better. Want to play Match of the Gathering, but you're stuck on the final match of the tutorial? As in, you can't figure out how to beat it? Question mark? Or it's just glitching out for you? You just can't beat it? Well, I mean, that's just the point where you just gotta try and figure out you just gotta try and figure out, you gotta try and figure out the strategy of how, the tutorial wants you to try and play, you know? Unfortunately, I wish I could be a little more lighter on it, but unfortunately, that's just how the game is. Where if you can't beat the tutorial, then you just gotta keep trying until you figure out what you gotta do. Okay, so we threw in some cards, quite a number of new cards actually, including Triumphant Chomp, the Firstborn of Gisheth, the Scytheclaw Raptors, our Earthshaker Dreadmaw, and I wonder, battlefield gains life, 3/5, 6 mana Parasaur. That's a 5. I think Kinjali's Sunwing. Yeah, Kinjali's Sunwing is practically better, unfortunately. At least it allows all of your opponent's creatures battlefield tapped. I already have a health generator machine right here. Do I play World of Warships? I do not play World of Warships. I have not, Oh! Nakaraptor Omega! Greetings and welcome! Let me go and give you a proper shout out there.
Mecha-Raptor Omega and your mighty pack of viewers. Let's embrace the chaos together.
Indeed, indeed. Oh, that's a game that you can play? Very nice, very nice. But Mecha-Raptor Omega, thank you very much for the raid. Welcome, raiders. I certainly hope you had a wonderful stream. Don't mind us. We're basically trying to see what new cards we can add to our Ixalan deck. Don't we always cause chaos? Indeed, indeed. That's practically just one of the reasons why Wolf Chatter here enjoys chaos, because we just love chaos. But we threw in some new cool cards. I think we might be able to try and squeeze a few games in now and test out Ixalan Reborn. Oh, also Mecha-Raptor Omega, my dear friend. Even though, unfortunately, the Jurassic Park cards could not get into Magic the Gathering Arena itself, some of the cards actually came in as card sleeves. So I would like to introduce you to the cards: Ian Malcolm, the Chaotician; Ellie and Alan, the Paleontologists; Dino DNA, which is John Hammond's card; Access Denied, which is technically Mr. Arnold, but is also Dennis Nedry's card, where he's basically going, you didn't say the magic word. The Spitting Dilophosaur, for obvious reasons. The Ravenous Tyrannosaurus. I love that card art so much. The card Life Finds a Way, showing off the Sinoceratops. And you'll love this one the most, the Hunting Raptors. Basically showing off the Velociraptors as they ambush Robert Muldoon. So yeah, I would definitely, if you get the chance, I would definitely say check out the beginning of this VOD, to check out all the Jurassic Park cards that we went over and basically commented on their card arts, their stats, and their abilities. I do believe you'll find quite a number of those cards interesting. But on that note, we are going to be rolling with this. We have Huatli as our avatar, and we've got our Cave Raptor companion as a little pet that we get to play with. Save and the exits to those changes. We're going to now test out, not you, Ixalan Reborn, or Historic Ranked. Let us begin. The River Heralds are nomadic bands of merfolk that live in harmony with the natural world. They once unified to defend Oraska, but ultimately failed. They were hit hard by the Phyrexian invasion. They are now migrated underground. Apologies to them. At least it isn't a Microraptor, just to annoy you. I mean, we've got quite the number of raptors in this deck, actually, now. Ooh, and this is actually the perfect deck for it, perfect hand for it, too. We're gonna keep all of this. And we're versing a fellow named Oh there. And I need to actually equip some of the emotes. Oh, we got our raptor being lowered down. Epic. So, we are going to be playing our Plains card and our Kinjali's Collar to start us off. A Scorch Spitter. Whenever Scorch Spitter attacks, it deals 1 damage to the player or Planeswalker it's attacking. Interesting. Unclaimed territory. We're gonna announce Dinosaur, allowing us to bring out our Nest Robber. And we're gonna attack with the Nest Robber. Well, guess what, my dear friend? Slash of Talons coming in for the work. Dealing 2 damage to your blocking creature. That'll work. Nest Robber, go ahead and swing for 2. We technically have a Rallying Roar, but we want to save that for either a grand finale or for whenever something dangerous comes out and we need to block. 1 more Forest. Everybody attack except for the Collar. 4 damage to the face. End turn. The Thicket Crasher. Oh, Captain Crazy wants me to howl live? Very well then. Y'all get to enjoy me howling. Needed a drink of water first though. Been a while since I actually did this, so. There you are, my friend. Thank you for the redeem. And hopefully not peeking in the mic. Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully that sounded okay to everybody.
Yes, the spirits are talking to me. Oh yes, they're coming in clearly. Ah, now they're forming into a gaseous material. I can actually see them now. The spirits are very powerful today.
Hell yeah. We're gonna do 2 attackers. Guess what? That Thicket Crasher? There you go. You can still howl like that, while. End turn. We've got the traps still set. He's gonna think he can attack with that Thicket Crasher, but nah. As soon as Rallying Roar comes up, we can untap all of our creatures. They'll get 1/1s, and we'll be able to kill that Thicket Crasher with just 1 Nest Robber. Lavakin Brawler. Whenever Lavakin Brawler attacks, it gets 1 until end of turn for each elemental you control. Interesting. If you had that sound alert, you can always use it. I mean, you can technically add it to your stream if you have the sound alerts stuff. Now you're gonna actually attack? Yes, you are. You fool! Block with 1. Now we're gonna have to be on the defensive because we can't actually attack anymore. Oh, you need to be affiliate before. I mean, yeah, true, because it does have that, it does have the bit cost, even though I have all mine set to free. Okay, can I grab an actual dinosaur card? I need someone big. Also, I probably should have played that forest. The Ancient Green Warden. May play lands from your graveyard. We're getting elementals and... yeah, we're getting a lot of elementals on the field right now. It's Godzilla!
International copyright laws. It's not. Still, we should roll like it is Godzilla!
Ilath the World Sculptor. Now see, right now, if I actually had that Giganotosaurus card, that would be helping me out a lot right now. And Kai-Dig-a-Dig! The Tyrannosaurus VTuber.
More chaos? Excellent. Welcome, Kai-Dig-a-Dig and your wild viewers. Let's howl at the moon together.
Resolve. But yes, do consider checking out Kai-Dig-a-Dig, a fellow T-Rex VTuber. Or, not a fellow, but a T-Rex VTuber. Unfortunately, the Jurassic Park cards were not added into Magic the Gathering Arena, but we did go over the cards at the beginning of the stream. So, if you are interested, please do consider checking out the VOD. And our grazing whiptail, but I think it might be a little too late at this point. He's basically got an entire engine set up, and our hand did not work out. So we're just gonna go ahead and concede for right now. Yeah. But yes, welcome in, Raiders. What game were you playing there, Kai-Dig-a-Dig? And also Mecha. What game were you playing as well? We're gonna keep trying out these Ixalan Reborn. This Ixalan Reborn deck. Fatal Frame 5. Pretty creepy and intense, though. And lewd. And very weird. Ah, were you playing Ark Survival Evolved there, my friend? A classic for you, my friend. Alright, we're gonna keep all of this. Hello there. We can do this. I think we can do Unclaimed Territory. We're gonna do Human. In Jolly's Collar. I was scaroused. Oh, I watched the new show Monarch Legacy of the Monsters, and it's awesome. Good, good. He invented the word. Ah, Murray. I see. I see what you're saying now. Greetings and welcome in as well. No attacks. Also, there's our boy Gisheth. We just need enough people out on the field to be able to bring him out. Plus the mana. You revealed a Plains? Why'd you reveal Plains to me? Cleric of Life's Bond. Thing. Let's do this. Now that won't work. We can keep reducing the cost of our dinosaurs. My echo is on? What do you mean my echo is on? What do you mean my echo is on? Am I echoing? How am I echoing? Oh, you mean I'm echoing when I talk. I'm echoing when I talk? What are you... What? Hang on a minute. Let's take a look here. No, I have it just as my regular microphone. Huh. Yeah, you might be having, you might have my stream up twice if you were watching Mecha Raptor. That may very well be the problem. Yeah, exactly. There you go. Or wild just gone crazy. I mean, it would be, oh, you want me to discard a card? Commune with dinosaurs. I'll take it. Said, hey, you sound really robotic? What? Oh, you're talking. You were talking now. Okay. Regisaur Alpha, come on out. Other dinosaurs have haste. But we are also going to give Regisaur Alpha haste. 2 attackers. Boom. Echo, echo, echo. So we can throw out Nest Robber next. And Odapek Huntmaster. Garen the Corrupted Bishop. Interesting. Ooh. Okay, so. In Jolly's collar. That's Robber. No attacks. We're gonna set up our field. Echo the Dolphin, I do know about it. Everybody just talking about old games in chat. Speaking of which, Raptor. Yeah, your animation. Rana, the Last Blood Chief. When it attacks defending player, chooses a non-legendary creature card in your graveyard. Put it onto the battlefield with an initial 1/1. Mounted. Odapek Huntmaster. Next turn, we can just summon Gisheth for 4 mana. But that Cleric of Life spawn is definitely going to be a major threat. We need to try and get it off the field first before Gisheth can do some damage. Basically what I need right now is a Savage Stomp sorcery card. For instant. Instant or a sorcery? I think sorcery. Because it puts a 1/1 and has your creatures fight. We got a flying 4/4. You don't have anything in your graveyard to add. So, sure. And I can't block your flyer, so pass. You're gonna regret not having that 4/4 up, though. Oh no! I can't summon Gisheth because I don't have a white mana! Unclaimed territories for human! Shoot. That's another turn. Give me something that gives me white mana. Give me something that gives me white mana. Please! Okay, you foretelled a card. What are you up to? Gotta send another flyer in? Yep. Don't have anything in your graveyard. That's exiled. Can't block a flyer. Literally. Okay, we gotta make a level of move just to help clear out the board. save the humans as well. Let him just go through. You got plenty of health. 4, 7, that's only 9 damage. You want to keep that big board up so you can just smack face. Target human you control gains lifelink? Okay. Timeout used. You're blocking my nest robber. Is that all you're gonna block? Yeah, of course you block the Regisaur Alpha with that thing. Gonna lurk for a bit? Very well, Captain Crazy. Okay. I mean, if you wanted to sacrifice your Elder Fang disciple. Shoot, it got another 1/1 counter because it got lifelink. No matter what, though, I can't block everything. That 4/4 flying still gonna be able to just smack in, but that cleric life spawn is gonna require something to be sacrificed if he attacks with it. Please, white mana is all I need. Amiria's Call. Create 2 4/4 White Angel Warrior tokens. And they gain indestructible until the end of your next turn. Oh my god, everything gets indestructible until the end of next turn. There it is. You attacking right now. Probably the one thing I need the most. Resolve. Get rid of the hammer skull. You block that. And you can technically block that without dying, so yeah. White mana. I got trolled. I got RNG trolled. I had Gisheth in my hand. I just needed the white mana, but it wouldn't give it to me. SF Wyber. Fiber? Also, even though we have a new card in our hand, gonna mulligan this. This could work a little better, I suppose. Thank you very much for the care package there, Murray. Okay. We'll keep the 6. What we'll get rid of is Verdant Sun. Hello! We'll throw down a mountain. Throw down a forest. Nest robber! Going for the smack. The wolves demand blood, and the dinosaurs will deliver. We're gonna do this. Savage Stomp. Targeting nest robber, attacking goblin instigator. Take your back up. But no attacks. Raw meat can have blood, this is true too. This is a goblin deck. Got Oviraptors. We're about to send in our... I don't know if this is a Velociraptor or a Deinonychus or whatever. Pardon me. All I know is... this should be interesting. No blocks. Smack me. You probably have something that can burn me for like 3 damage or something. That's why you don't want me to... Oh. You're just gonna get a huge buff until the end of the turn. Fair enough. Smack. Goblin is nuts. Not sorry. Indeed. Thank you, Mecha. I wouldn't expect to be these nuts by you. You really want to try and attack? Scythe Claw can at least kill one of them. You don't have any way of buffing yourself. Yeah, that's what I thought. No attacks. I've got the wall. Gotta figure out how to get rid of this Bandit Lord. Because it's giving everyone else a 1-1. Glad to surprise you then, bud. Yes, thank you. And when you cast a spell that, when it's not my turn, Scythe Claw should be able to blast you for a good amount of damage. Go ahead. Use your instant in-hand burn spells. Scythe Claw will just rip right into you. Ain't that right, buddy? Yeah, you don't want to attack with that, because he's giving everyone else buffs. Whenever it becomes blocked, create a 1-1, that gets haste. Yeah, these are just goblin tokens. At least block 1. We don't block this trick deck. Okay, can we please get some white in this deck? It's over. All because I couldn't draw any white. I would be able to tap with Hammer Skulls. I'm gonna sacrifice my nest robber. Okay. Really, game? Come on now. How many white mana lands do I have in this deck? Tell me now. Obviously, we need to reduce some of our colors. We have 5 mountains, 6 forests, and 5 plains. Why am I not drawing any of my white manas? You fool! It's practically even. Oh, hi there. You're that D&D character that everyone likes in Baldur's Gate. I'll keep it. If only just because I have Commune with Dinosaurs to probably search for that white. Forest. Commune. I'll grab that unclaimed territory. No, I'll just grab the plains. What the hell am I thinking? Why limit? Why get something out that has lit? Should have grabbed the unclaimed territory. Plains and Jolly Collar. Waste not. Whenever an opponent discards a creature card, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. So you got a discard deck then. Growing like Rights of Ixalan. Search the top 4 cards for a creature. I'll grab Brazen Whiptail. All I need now is just 4 creatures on the field. Discards 2 cards, mills 2 cards, and loses 2 life. Okay. Goodbye Rallying Roar. And... my planes. There goes my Regisaur Alpha, too. Okay. Let's get out the Whiptail. And you're very D&D based because you got the Black Dragon from D&D as well. Gonna try and destroy one of my creatures. Your Foretelled card. When another opponent discards a land card, add 2. Oh, I should have read that. A non-creature card, draw a card. Oh, okay. So you're literally just benefiting off of me no matter what. Territorial Hammerskull. Claw Raptor. One Swinger. Growing Rights of Ixalan becomes the Cradle of the Sun. Whenever you cast a spell, if it's not their turn, deals 4 damage to them. Turn right now. He's probably going to want to try and save his mana for something next turn. Torment of Hailfire. Repeat the following process X times. Each opponent loses 3 life unless that player sacrifices a non-land permanent or discards a card. So, lose 9 health. Thank you. Gisheth! Let's go! Everybody, except Kinjali's Collar. Boom, 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 boom. Gisheth, bring in the recruits. Bring in your firstborn, the Earthshaker Dreadmaw, and the Ritjaw Raptor. You're at 1 health, my friend. I don't even need to attack you next turn. The child of Gisheth will take care of you. Hey, you know what? Discard a creature card. Regisaur Alpha. And Watley. You got a zombie and a card. Pass 2 or less. Nothing. Triumphant Chomp deals 2 damage to the target creature equal to 2 or the greatest power among creatures. Target creature. Aww. You got rid of the firstborn. Kill him. Avenge your child. Okay, so Earthshaker Dreadmaw, restocking my entire hand like that. Chef's kiss. That was beautiful. Play more. Play again. Obviously, we're gonna have to try and create ourselves a deck that would probably focus around the descending ability for all of the cavern stuff. Pardon me. You know what? Keep it. Hello. We can add unclaimed territory for dinosaur. Knight of the Dust Shadow. Fountain, Otopac Huntmaster. You have fun with that. Your opponents can't gain life, and you can use 2 mana for it to gain a 1/1 until end of turn. Ninjutsu? You turned it into a 3/2 with lifelink. That's scary. Another Otopac Huntmaster. Scytheclaw Raptor. Give it haste. Swing. Wanna be a prick? We can both be pricks. And that technically returned to your hand because of the... Fascinating. No blocks. Go ahead. Planes! That's exactly what I needed. Next. Scytheclaw Raptor, go ahead and Nest Robber as well. You're gonna block you're gonna block both. Okay. Well, guess what? Flash of Talons is getting rid of one of those blockers. My raptor stays on the field. You can keep smacking me with your stinking rat, ninja. Yeah. In fact, actually, what I can do is sacrifice my Otopac Huntmaster. At least one of them. They'll both be able to kill him, but I'll lose just one of my Huntmasters. So, have fun. Having no blockers. Summon something out. Dawn Heart Rejuvenator. When it enters the battlefield, you gain 3 life. And you can add 1 mana of any color for it. Fine. Okay, now I'm drawing too many lands. I need my creature still. You're the only thing that can really attack, so have fun. Just need to be able to stall until I can draw another big dinosaur. Oh, you heading off to bed there, Captain Crazy? Certainly hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. Thanks for joining in. And spirits bless, my friend. Bowl transfer. If you control an artifact, enchantment as an exile creature or planeswalker. Aww. They got rid of my fun raptor. Please. Give me a creature. Oh dear. Other tapped creatures you control have death touch. Have death touch. Other untapped creatures you control have hexproof. No blocks. Now it's attacking and it has poison. We can't even use Savage Stomp to destroy one of the monsters. Because they're too strong. Keep playing everything from your hand. The more cards we filter out, the better of a chance we have of drawing something big. Archpriest of Shadows. Backup? When this creature enters the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on target creature. Okay. Three attackers. No blocks. Come on. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Okay, I got cheated again. I do not have this issue. Oh, 2 new packs though. And 1,000 gold. Let's pop these open real quick. Seeker of Sunlight. Explores only activated sorcery. Dauntless Dismantler. Artifacts your opponents control enter the battlefield tapped. And you can destroy each artifact with mana value X. Nice. Out of Air. This spell costs 2 less to cast if it targets a creature spell. Counter target spell. The Tinker's Tote. Tinker's Tote enters the battlefield, create 2 1/1 colorless gnomes. And you can sacrifice the tote to life. The Volatile Wanderglyph. When it becomes tapped, you can discard a card. If you do, draw a card. The Dusk Rose Reliquary. As an addition cast to the spell, sacrifice an artifact or creature. Ward 2. When it enters the battlefield, exile target artifact or creature and opponent controls until Dusk Rose leaves the battlefield. The Enigma Jewel. The Enigma Jewel enters the battlefield tapped. You can tap it to add 2 basic mana. Only use it to activate abilities. And you can craft with 4 or more non-lands with activated abilities for the Locus of Enlightenment. And Locus of Enlightenment has each activated ability of the exiled cards used to craft it. You can activate each of them once per turn. And when you activate an ability that isn't a mana ability, copy it. Broken. And you gotta head to bed too there, Mecha Raptor? Fair enough. Thank you guys very much for joining in. Hope you enjoyed the stream. And Grasping Shadows. Whenever a creature you control attacks alone, it gains Death Touch and Lifelink. Put a Dread counter on Grasping Shadows. There are 3 or more Dread counters on it. Transform it. Cool. And then another Restless Acreage. Alright. I think I've got enough time for one more good duel. Let's hope it's actually good. I wanted to use the Firstborn of Gisheth's ability, but unfortunately that wipe ended up clearing him out of the field. I don't like this hand. Even though it has playable value, I'm gonna mulligan it. Mulligan. Sure. Send back Earthshaker. Send back Atali. Done. Hello. Hello. Yay, we got a response. The Yonin Vanguard. Fun. Commune with dinosaurs. Grab that mountain. Seeing as how literally all of that was land. Roll 3 or more creatures. This gets 1/1 and gain life. Maze Mine Tome. Put a page on Maze Mine Tome. Put a counter on Maze Mine Tome. Draw a card. There are 4 or more page counters on it. Exile it. Gain 4 life. Interesting. Mountain. Huntmaster. Angel of Vitality. Flames, Growing Rights of Ixalan. Search. 4. I mean, obviously we should just grab Gisheth. Because everything else is going to be put on the bottom of the library. Gisheth, please. No attacks. Johnny's pride mate. Oh dear. I'm not gonna be able to actually play Gisheth. Profound Craig. Pass turn. That's 4, 5, 6. I would still need 1 more mana. A Hallowed Priest. Every time you gain life, put up a 1/1 on it. Resolve. Oh dear. This is gonna hurt. I'm pretty sure that's death. Yeah, no, unfortunately not. Sometimes it's best to think about speed rather than taking the huge creature. Yeah, I know, Kyrian. I got greedy. I just knew Gisheth was going to get thrown to the bottom of the deck, so... I should have grabbed the Regisaur Alpha instead. That way I could have popped off Growing Rights of Ixalan. Even then, though, health gain decks are practically overpowered in themselves. Okay, all the red. Mulligan, please. You can work with this. But the real question is, what do we get rid of? Planes. We can play red-green for a while. Hello. Forest, commune with dinosaurs. We can grab Gisheth. No, we're not going to grab Gisheth. We won't be able to summon him. At least not right now. We'll grab the planes. Unclaimed territory. Claiming dinosaur. Bringing out Izkin, the firstborn of Gisheth. Ganjo? Put it in your hand. Shuffle. Plane. Injolly. Nest robber. Go for it. Oh, so that's whenever he just comes out. I mean, that's still cool. Don't get me wrong. Nope, not you. Everyone but you. Hey, congratulations on catching that spoink. Architect of Restoration. Regisaur Alpha. Everyone but you. We want you to be on the defensive. Now things are parking up, indeed. Fear the beacon of the mind. Oh, the bacon of the mind? Oh, spoink. Ooh. Wait. A better idea. Everyone except you. Attack right now. You're gonna need a block unless you want to die. Got a 1-1. Yep. Got a 3-4. And you got another 3-4. Never mind. Rallying Roar to finish him off. Regisaur Alpha for the win. The most terrifying deck I have ever seen was a green-black conspiracy deck. I don't know about what the conspiracy mechanic is, but I do know about green-black being very powerful. Hey, you know what though? We only need one more for casting a red spell. Squeeze in one more. We'll be fine. All we have to do is just play one red card, and we will have completed that mission. Mercadian Masks block old magic? Oh, really? Interesting. Triumphant Chomp is in our hand, but we can't play anything because we have nothing but planes. There we go. Can work a lot better. The good thing is we can get rid of one of the mountains. Hello! We're gonna throw in mountain. Name a creature type. All creatures in your library, hand, and graveyard are the chosen type. Interesting. That's a very unique game mechanic. We got a Phyrexian dragon. Well, we first need more creatures out, or we need to be able to pay that to whenever it comes out, so. Rootbound Crag. That's exactly what I needed, actually. Because Savage Stomp with Nest Robber means I live, you die, and I get a boosted Nest Robber. And Jolly Sunwing comes out next. And technically, Nest Robber completes our red mana, or one red card requirement, so consider that mission done, win or lose. They ran elf mana to speed it up and ran massive expensive creatures with copies of summon creature token. Bread and Butter was a creature that had 3 cost ability to pull any elf from their library. Yeah, elf. Elf is horrible to fight against. Inquisitive. Or Ixquit. Firstborn of Kishith. Pay the 2 mana. Target dinosaur I control deals damage to... Wait. Target dinosaur you control deals damage equal to its power to another target creature. Oh, cancel. No, cancel. I wanted it. There we go. Cancel. No, I just wanted to cancel out the whole thing. No! I am a fool. Wait, hang on. Cancel that. Just hit yourself. Are you sure? Sure. I'm an idiot. I didn't realize it was gonna... It had to target another creature. Wrath of God. Well, you're mean. You mean with dinosaurs? Regisaur Alpha. But that's a 5 cost. Oh no. What were the other cards? Especially when those massive creatures like Avatar of Might and the Avatar of Woe come into play directly from the library. Understandable. All of my creatures killed. Birds. Who created birds. Yeah, Kinjali Collar. Savage Stomp. Discontinuity. Well, at least that's out of their hand. I can technically summon a 5 mana creature. Or I can just play Scytheclaw Raptor. Scytheclaw. Counter target spell. You're mean. Top X cards out of your library where X is the mana spent to cast a spell. What? 1? 2. Another Strict Proctor. Well, I'm happy that I got rid of that. So now I can throw out Regisaur Alpha. They've got all their mana tapped. And Regisaur will at least give everyone else haste. Never mind, I'm gonna need to draw a land. Thank you. You canceled my ability? Good Beta's counters on the weenies? Yes. Apparently he's got on-field abilities, though. And I can't do anything with Kiship. Oh my god, this is literally becoming the turn of the century. Keep attacking. Eventually he'll have to start sacrificing those Strict Proctors. Or the birds. Ugin? Vicious. Please.
Ghost fire. My
No matter what I do,
creation.
Ugin's just gonna be able to... Yeah, he's gonna be able to block. Ow, ow, ow.
My draconic talent.
Please, give me a land. Give me a land right now. Give me a land right now. 2, 4, 6. I needed the land, not the mana reduction.
Reality is clay.
I know my
We won! We won! Somehow we won.
Surprisingly flexible.
Somehow we won that. I don't know how, but I'm okay with it. We walk away victorious. We buy one special mythic pack. Just to finish the night. Pop it. Yeah, that was basically it. Defossilize. Return target creature from your graveyard to the battlefield. Explores and explores again. Everything else we basically see. Sovereign Akanek Ahau. A legendary cat noble. When Akanek Ahau attacks for each control with power greater than that creature's base power, put a number of 1/1 counters on that creature equal to the difference. Interesting. What else we got? Flame. Hello, 3 more packs. And those are all just weekly announcements, so continue. You thought I was just one? Nah, we got 3 more. Volatile Fault. Poison Dart Frog. Add 1 mana of any color. Poison Dart Frog gains Death Touch. Fungal Fortitude. Hidden Nursery. Oaken Siren. 10 mana only to cast an artifact spell. Restless Anchorage. I know a green-white deck that would do dirty things with that legendary chat. Oh, I'm sure. Valamant Brawler. Another cat warrior. When it attacks, target creature gains trample until end of turn. That's cool. Geological Appraiser. Enters the battlefield. Cast it. Discover 3. Stinging Cave Crawler. Death Touch and Descend 4. Whenever it attacks, if there are 4 or more permanent cards in your graveyard, you draw a card and lose 1 life. Then the Attentive Sunscribe. Let you scry 1. We got a rare wild card. And the final pack. Hello. Akawali, the Seething Tower. Legendary fungus creature. Descend 4 as long as there are 4 or more permanent cards in your graveyard. Seething Akawali gets 2/2 and has trample, and it's descending 8. As long as there are 8 or more, you get the additional 2/2 and can't be blocked by more than 1 creature. The Seismic Monstrosaur that we saw. Walking with the Ancestors. Looks like Bajasaurus skeleton that got resurrected with fungus. Return up to 1 permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. Discover 4. Haslam's Stone Tree, Haslam's Strider, which turns into a golem. Enter the battlefield, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You can put a land card among them onto the battlefield, put the rest in the bottom. And then Craft with Cave. This becomes a 5/5 creature with vanilla text. Staunch Crewmate, whenever it enters the battlefield, look at the top 4 cards of your library. Look at it, reveal an artifact or a pirate card from among them and put it in your hand. Akal Pakal, the first among equals, the human advisor. At the beginning of each player's end step, if an artifact entered the battlefield under your control this turn, look at the top 2 cards of your library. Put one of them into your hand and the other into your graveyard. Interesting. Well, outside of everything that we've saw today, I do believe this was a glorious little adventure. Welcome home there, Gib. I apologize, but unfortunately I will have to call it a night here. So we'll definitely have to try and see if we can't schedule that rematch that you wanted to do for Tuesday. But let's go ahead and switch over to the chat room to find ourselves someone to raid for the evening, shall we? So let's do it. Ah, yes, I forgot that was the... I have media share still enabled there. There we go. Alrighty. Exit game. And let's find someone to raid for the evening, shall we? Well, once again, you know what? I can just go ahead and do this for you guys. If you guys wanted to check out the Jurassic Park cards that we were looking at the beginning of the stream and you weren't able to catch it, here's the link right now for you. That way you can check it out for yourself. Outside of that, though, who's still alive? Who's still up and rolling around playing crazy games, eh? Try and see if we can get a nice, good list here. Everyone's probably going to be playing right now because it's Friday and no one has to worry about work tomorrow except for me. Yeah, they started putting me on the weekend shift. So, whether or not I stream tomorrow is kind of up in the air. However, you got work tomorrow too. Well, seems like we're both in the same boat then. Hey, you know what though? I think... Yeah, you know what? Let's go say hi to my good friend Soleil Duval. A witchy VTuber who's playing a little bit of a 100% orange juice. Which should be interesting enough, I suppose. So, let's go ahead and start up this raid. Let us bring the wolf pack to the Witch's Vale. Copy that on my end and send it your guys' way. And on that note, I will go ahead and say, ooh, thank y'all so much for joining us this evening. I certainly hope you enjoyed Jurassic Week as much as I did. I had a lot of fun being able to revisit all these Jurassic Park themed games, and looking forward to trying to get my hands on the Jurassic Park cards themselves. And if you did enjoy what you saw on this stream, do consider leaving a follow as it helps out the channel. And if you are watching from the YouTube archive, do consider subscribing there as well. That way you can check out all of our previous adventures. And finally, if you want to stay on top of when I go live, do consider checking out my card for all of my socials. Thank you all so much once again for joining me. And, as always, I will see you next time. Spirits bless, and bye-bye.